All right, we're on the air. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Super Shill stream. I've got John Delarose here. I've invited some other pals. I don't know who's going to come by. Some people are probably at work still. But me and John are here to have our Super Shill stream. So, welcome, everybody. How are you doing today, man?
Did you know there's a Nasser YouTube channel that's got like 44K subs, and if you just type in Nasser, that comes out?
No, I didn't know that.
Here, I'm gonna pull up the link, and we're gonna stalk this Nasser to
Oh,
start.
man. What?
I don't know anything. Watching Star Wars for the first time is his video here.
Oh,
Look at
my
this.
goodness.
So
Don't tell me there's another nerd with my name
it's
and
another
he.
nerd Nasser, and he's got 44K subscribers. Watching Star Wars for the first time, right there. Attractive young fellow, and watching Ghostbusters for the first time, watching Back to the Future for the first time. So this is his shtick. I guess he just never watched this nerd stuff,
Oh,
and he's
what is this? Rip J.K. Rowling needs to stop. Okay.
oh
Well,
no, oh no, oh
oh man, is this
no.
is this is this a drama channel?
Uh,
I
just him
can't hear.
talking.
Oh,
He doesn't even
wait.
edit or anything. Look at this, and he's fancy. Look at Trans Lives Matter. Here we go.
Oh man.
Oh man. So this is what this is your competition, Nasser. This is the other Nasser.
Oh boy. Oh boy. More drama channels to compete with. Oh
Marvel
boy.
versus DC movies. I wish I could just sit there and talk about corporate consumer nonsense and pretend to be excited about it and then consume more. I really wish I could do that, you know?
Oh boy, that would make me miserable. That did make us miserable. I remember we
It
both
did.
tried to talk about that before when we both tried to basically ape the bigger quote unquote comics channels.
Yeah,
Um,
as soon as you do that, you get like hundreds more views, and then you're like, oh, this is just
well,
terrible. So
that's exactly what I was doing. I was like, I'm gonna call out SJWs, and then my channel just like it did get more views, but I was like, this is so awful. It just makes you miserable.
the damn SJWs.
Right, but
Yeah.
I've been having problems lately with YouTube and StreamYard, so I have no clue if this is like showing up in people's feeds because we've only got like 3 people in here. I don't know if they just found it via the YouTube link I posted on Twitter. So
I'll post it. I was busy looking at this other Nasser. Otherwise, I would have posted it. Star
yeah,
Wars: The
so
Mandalorian 2 trailer. Wow! I should totally
oh my
put
goodness, that
myself into
sounds so
this is
lame.
like so cringy.
That is so cringe, but
Yeah.
that's what I have to compete with. That's what I have to compete with, and something.
Massive Harry Potter 18-inch Funko Pop haul. He doesn't quite go full soy face with this, but
Yeah, he's like halfway
he's
there.
thinking about it. He's
Right.
thinking about it.
Right. In like another month, he's gonna be exactly like that drawing Ethan did, the soy boy drawing. If Ethan had one good joke, is probably that one.
That's a great joke, but that
Oh
was not
boy,
his original joke either. That was going around the internet.
that's
So
true. But I mean,
yeah.
like the drawing that he did, like that was
Oh,
that
it's
was gold
excellent.
because it
Excellent.
looked
Yeah.
just like it. He did do the soy boy face in that other one you zoomed in on.
This
The
one,
yeah,
it
the
kind of
Back to the
not quite. It's not smiley enough. It's more just like I'm gonna chug a you know what
yeah, it's
face.
it's really gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no clue if my videos are showing up in people's feeds. So let me know, guys, how you got here. All 3 of you that are watching right now. Because usually when I set up the stream, I just go to my channel in another tab and it's there, and that's how I find the link. But that hasn't been happening for me, so I'm not even seeing it. I have to go into like the YouTube Studio thing to find it. Um, so I have no clue if it's showing up for people. Like
Look
my
at this.
last stream.
So we can just sit here and rank movies. Rank every Pirates of the Caribbean movie. You get 6,000 views.
Oh
Ranking
my
the Hobbit
goodness.
movies with Lord of the Rings, 9,000 views. That's
People
obvious,
actually
though.
watch this?
The Hobbit movies sucked, and like Lord of the Rings 3, then 2, then 1. I mean, it's that obvious. Okay. Ranking the Lord of the Rings movies. So he did 2 videos of the exact same things, but then added the Hobbits movies in also. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy,
Star
Star
Wars
Wars versus
versus
Harry
Harry
Potter.
Potter.
There is
Oh
nothing I
man.
could think of that would make me want to stab myself in the ears more. Like that's the last thing I want to hear about is like it's like Star Wars versus Harry Potter.
Is it
And he
easy
also
to
has
take pictures of yourself with a glow and then put the little background like this? Like, I should do that to all my videos. It's
oh
pretty
my
funny.
goodness. There's nothing I hate
How do
more
you do that?
than there's nothing I hate more than a YouTuber that puts their face in the thumbnail and then they
I,
do that little shocked face.
the little
I
shock
hate that.
face.
I hate that. I hate that. There are some
That's pretty
YouTubers.
soy. That's pretty soy. There we go.
There are some
We found
YouTubers
it.
that I love their content, but then they do that face thing, and I want to unsub. I have unsubbed from people before just because I keep seeing their face and their face in thumbnails. I will never put my face in the thumbnail.
Is that easy to do? Like, because I
I've-
can't imagine wanting to spend time actually
I have
cutting
no
yourself
idea.
out of a picture. Yeah.
That just sounds irritating. I don't understand how anybody could do YouTube or wants to do YouTube like that. I just got no idea.
I should do it for all my reviews. Just have me making soy face on top of every review I do. So it'd be amazing.
Goodness, I would
I'd be
unsub.
popular. I'd be popular.
I would unsub. But let me say hello to the people in the chat. We got K Blonde says Herm.
For those who just joined, we're watching Nasser. So
right, we've got Kevin Strange here, Flyfox Pro. Guys, let me know. Let me know in the chat if this is if the stream is showing up in your feeds or where you're finding it, guys. Because my last stream got like hideously low views, but I wonder if it's not showing up in people's feeds or if it's because I haven't really been doing the clickbait titles for the last one or this one. Like
was I on it?
No, the last one I did by myself yesterday. I was just on here for an hour by myself. I was shilling for you at the end of that,
That's
and
nice
then
of you, thank you.
and then I asked you a question because you were in the chat, and then you never said anything. I was like, did he leave in the middle of me shilling?
I must have. So sorry. Yeah.
Oh man.
Womp womp.
Flyfox Pro says faces in the thumbnail. I wouldn't know anything about that kind of thing. Yeah, Flyfox Pro does that, but he's got an actual good channel.
Pro.
He's got an actual good channel where he well, probably got to put it all as one word. But he's got an actual good channel that just talks about books and he talks about comics without any of the drama.
I don't see your face. I don't see your face.
He's done it before.
That's you, Flyfox Pro? Wow.
Yeah, and you
like a
got
normal
you got
guy.
to sub to him.
Okay.
He's done that before in a video. I don't know, or in a thumbnail. I don't know where it is, but he's done that before.
I'm gonna find the soy face Flyfox
maybe
Pro
he changed
thumbnail.
it. I don't know.
I don't see any. So.
I see,
Wait.
Here we are. Here we are.
Most of these are he just didn't bother doing his thumbnail though. Like, I mean, sometimes it's just his face, but that's just his face, right? So.
Oh! We got Thomas here.
I'm in the show. I just clicked on the thing.
Oh
I sent
boy,
the link to my brother too.
all right. How are you doing, man? It's really unfortunate what happened to your channel, man. I was so disappointed to see
I'm
that.
delightful.
Wait, is your YouTube like down?
Yeah, it's gone. The
Gone.
whole channel's gone.
The only decent channel on YouTube, and it's gone.
I mean,
I'm
other
not
than
even.
PewDiePie.
I'm not even kidding when I say that. It's like the only channel that I actually look forward to their uploads. I'm sorry, John. I watch your channel too, but like this is like
I talk about like boring comic books that I like, and so nobody likes that. So
no, I like your
Yeah.
channel, but this is like SWC is like the only channel where it's like where it's just like I don't know, where I just look forward to every upload.
They're
'cause
funnier.
They're gonna make me laugh.
They're
They're gonna.
We had a small following, but it was I guess dedicated. The people who liked our channel more than anything.
more than
Oh
anything,
man, man, Pocket Jack's comics is saying you're not linking to me.
I can literally pull up everything because Nasser's just sharing my screen. What should I pull up on here? What is?
Oh man, well I didn't think you were done sharing your screen. That's why I
Oh.
still have it on you.
I was just looking up random stuff. What should I look up?
Oh man. Well, type in SWC and let's see if any of the mirrors are on YouTube
Oh,
right
in
now.
here, SWC. We should go shitty web comics, right?
SWC stands for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think there's like Southwest Christian podcast. There's an SWC that exists.
Summoner War Esports World
Summoner War.
Arena. Yeah.
SWC 2020 America's
You have 293K
Esports?
subscribers for whatever this is.
That's pretty good. Maybe
Yeah.
we should have gone esports. We would not be banned.
Hey, what's up, guys and girls? I'm making a gaming channel, making 14 Apex and Call of. Does he mean Fortnite?
Oh wait, there's another SWC. We got 105 subscribers. That's
Yeah.
a pretty sweet icon there.
And Call of Duty videos. Yeah, there you go. SWC full. What are you doing? What are you and your brother doing?
This was a little experiment we decided.
Well,
We became a J-pop band for a while or something.
Oh my gosh!
it looks like a fascist J-pop band.
Oh, and this stream is titled Super Shill Stream, so I'm posting the link for Villains of the Snow Sea. In
I'm
the
just
chat.
gonna leave this rolling.
Keep in the
My brother
background.
is the blonde one there out in front. Oh wait, there's like 3 of them. Oh, never mind.
I'm the sexy one.
Sexy. Well, that's all of them though. That's all. I mean, all of
This is
them.
gonna give me a seizure watching this.
Well,
Yeah,
that
too many
means it's
flashing lights.
Japanese.
I might have to remove your screen share.
I don't know why the Japanese are so obsessed with trying to incite a seizure. And
What's this one? 2K vids NBA. See, this is your basketball. You guys are such big basketball fans. I mean, that makes sense.
112 subscribers, not as good as
Yeah.
our previous channel.
No.
It had 135 subscribers with the Call of Duty video.
What the hell is this?
You know, I should have streamed Call of Duty. That's the video game. Instead of playing Warframe, we should have done Call of Duty. Oh, this is Korean. Well, see, we've even taken over
WC.
Korea. we're loading up on the plane to invade.
Gonna airdrop.
I
onto the
don't
internet.
understand.
People never really knew that we were actually Korean the whole time.
Look at
Oh,
this
man.
part. I missed
Like,
the best part here, though.
Jumping
So I
out of
guess
there
we're-
is like
we're
There you go.
infiltrating.
jumping out of the airplane was like Liam on his way to
Korea.
false flag.
I guess EVS and Comicsgate didn't realize. we're right.
Is this gaming related?
I
don't know.
have.
Oh my goodness! Take this off the screen.
You're gonna get flagged and not for
I'm
this one,
I'm
Nasser.
I'm gonna remove you.
You should be looking up Riona, but oh well.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness! Oh my
I-
goodness! But
I was going to link to this, but then, oh yeah, that's right, my channel's down. I can't even go to my subscriber thing and be like, "Where's the Nasser thing?" Oh, it's gone.
I'm sure there was a good reason for whatever that video was that had context with sound.
The sound explained it.
Yeah.
oh boy!
We're a CA SWC. So this is the Christian. This is the
California.
Calgary. Yeah, this is your Christian channel.
That's the Christian
Oh, it's
one.
also
And it's
it's also
Japanese, or
Korean,
Chinese,
yeah, or whatever it is.
China. SWC mission. See, we're on a mission.
We're on a mission, all right.
Wow, it's funny. I remember searching SWC like years ago, and like our channel didn't show up, but it was just some like podcast. I think if you search for SWC podcast, the Christian one shows up. Yeah,
And there it is. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it is. That's our old
Standing
podcast.
with
and a weird like Street Fighter thing.
And then
So.
another SWC podcast with
There is
And-
one
and
subscriber.
Christ.
One
That's
subscriber.
what SWC really stands for: is Stand with Christ.
Stand with Christ.
oh boy, guys! So has there been any
Hold on.
update?
Hold on. SWC ASMR.
Oh, yeah. Of course. I know. JoJo's ASS. So this everything ties back into JoJo.
Everything always ties back into
Minecraft
JoJo.
ASMR, of course.
Yeah. All right. I'm done.
Okay, that's good. But
I'll stop there.
But has there been any update since the channel got taken down about getting it back?
I don't know. The email does have a link to appeal it, and I haven't clicked on that yet.
Oh boy, do you want to? Do you want to get your channel back or?
I guess I could try. You know, when we got taken down with the strikes, I was like, well, here we go. That's finally the proof that Comicsgate wants to censor people. But I also knew that people weren't really going to pay attention to that, because especially Comicsgate, they weren't going to look at that and be
We've
like,
been
"Oh,
warning people about that
Comicsgate's
for half
involved
a
in
year."
censorship." Oh,
They
no.
have an excuse for everything, man. Like
Yeah.
anything happens, like, oh well, no, it was okay to be an SJW because that guy deserved it.
Yeah.
Again, they're like a little kid who's been caught doing bad. As soon as they get caught, it's like, no, actually, I didn't do it because, and then they try and find a way to weasel out of it.
Yeah, and it's like you're the only person around. It's like, no, Batman came in and took the cookies out of the cookie jar. It's like, okay, you're the only one here. I know you're lying.
But
we all know you're lying. You know you're lying.
But even if you go back to like the Nurkic stuff, it's always like, well, no, Nurkic deserved it because the SJW's had his docs, so he deserved to be kicked out.
Or
Like, it doesn't
even
even
like
make
Mike
sense.
Betts Miller was like, no, that's not what happened. Nurkic didn't even get kicked out. Ethan Van Sciver didn't say that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, and then Ethan turns on him too, and he's like, oh, Ethan is bad, and it's like, well, you were the one making it stupid for him.
Yep.
Oh boy, and it's like
it made
like,
some people money for a while, so they kind of ignored what was going on willfully.
Yeah, it gave them like legitimacy and validation to act like, to be part of a cult. It's like, look at how many people we have around us. We must be correct because there are these other people saying it.
Right, or like with Donald when everybody was replying to his tweets, like, which they still do, and they're like, yeah, don't pay this guy, and like they're all just like, oh well, it's okay because he's like a backstabber because Yellow Umbrella said so, like he's evil, so don't pay him.
Yeah, Comicsgate supporting theft, basically.
Basically.
Openly arguing in favor of theft.
They're completely okay with that as long as somebody famous tells it. Kind of like a retard, they'll do anything that a person they trust tells them.
Well, they have a history of just trying to censor people too, which is ironic, given the fact that the main complaint is they were kicked out of the industry and being censored, right?
But they weren't also.
Right, like it started with some dumb excuse or reasoning where they were like, oh, well, you're not allowed to be Christian in the mainstream, so we're going to be Christian over here. And then anybody that was remotely Christian, they were like, oh, no, you can't say that here.
Yeah.
That's homophobic.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Exactly.
They did that. So I remember when I launched Robotoad, I got this same thing. So they actually flagged every link I posted on Robotoad on every platform. So I couldn't post it on Facebook for like 72 hours because they flagged it as inappropriate harassment, the link, like to the Indiegogo.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They shut down my live stream and got my live streams privileges suspended, so I couldn't even shill on my own channel. They got my YouTube or my Twitter suspended all immediately because they didn't want people to find out that Robotoad existed. It was ridiculous. So of course they do that to you. I mean, I'm surprised it took this long, honestly.
Right. I wonder if Liam Gray tore his brain again trying to figure out how to keep striking you guys.
He did.
Yeah, because the thing is, in this case, it's pretty obvious somebody else, was doing it for him. I mean, they've been
the same thing that we encountered when we were on Tumblr a long time ago.
In 2015, we had
Kate West constantly reporting our Tumblr over and over again every single day. She even bragged about it. Basically, she would wake up every single day and report our blog.
That was in 2013 too. Yeah, or 2012, 2013. She was like, "I'm waking up every day and I'm reporting the blog." And then a bunch of other people who worked for like Image Comics and Marvel and stuff were like, "Oh, this," or some of the people in from Comics Alliance, which some of them went on to work at Boom or Image. They were like, oh yeah, report this blog, but don't read it. Don't look at the blog, just report. Like they were afraid that if you saw it, like it would take over your soul or something. Like don't look into it. Don't look into the trap.
Like I wouldn't doubt it if it was just like because you got taken down right for people just reporting you. It wasn't for the copyright thing. I wouldn't doubt it if it was just Liam just like reporting you on like his 100 burner accounts because he didn't. Like, he didn't report my video I made of him, that I know of, at least YouTube never said anything, but he thumbed it down from, like, I don't know, 50 accounts, because when I did that video, it had, like, 50 thumbs ups and, like, I don't know, 10 thumbs downs, and then as soon as he found out about it, it suddenly had, like, 60 or 70 more thumbs downs, and then he did some cope stream about it.
Yeah, that they all have, so many of them have burner accounts, and that's how they enforce, like, you can see we're right because look at all these different accounts that
they've
got
fame.
They've got so many different accounts. I dealt with this the first time I dealt with Sketch Therapy, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I would block him.
That he was out of his
back. I would block him again. He'd be back. I must have blocked him 10 times over the course of one stream. And he had
I had that same experience. He's like, you can't silence me. He said one time, I forget what was happening in the stream, and I just had to keep hiding him because he was going crazy, and he's like, "You cannot silence me. I have 100 different accounts." I was like,
Yeah, that's him acting like, he's the voice of reason or something, but he actually has, a legitimate mental, like he can't work,
Right.
flex disability because he's mentally broken. But the thing is that so many other people in comics were attracted because they were also just mentally completely deranged too.
and we've got a Skinny here in the chat.
Skinny, hey buddy.
I forgot to link to his book, but he's got 31 days left on his book. They're fully funded, and you guys should all check it out too. And I'm gonna put it here in the chat. I'm gonna edit this and put it in the description as well. I'll send you a link, Skinny. But yeah, you guys talk while I do that.
Oh yeah, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, eventually what actually got our blog deleted back in 2015 was Kate Leth just privately messaged the one of the staff at Tumblr and was like, "Hey, can you delete a blog for me?" And like she did it in public though at first. She like publicly added them. I was like, "Hey, can you do something?" And it was the same day that our blog got deleted, so it was clearly a favor being called in from somebody who we didn't even really post about. But the stuff we post about was just goofy stuff like just drawings and like edited drawings and stuff to make fun of her, which was really just occasional. And we deleted more posts about her than we ever posted to, because people would submit screen caps of her tweets all the time, and we would just delete them because, like, I don't care about what she
Where
said.
do I remember the name Kate Leth from? I don't even remember.
Oh, she's I hardly even remember. She's some weirdo at Marvel or something. And
well, yeah, she worked on Hellcat, and it was funny. She worked on Hellcat after she got our blog deleted, but then she worked on it wasn't the She-Ra remake, but it was something like that or something.
It was on like
know.
Netflix.
Something on, or no, it was on Crunchyroll. It was like Crunchyroll was making an American anime or something. It was like Star Power versus the Forces of Evil or some shit.
What you probably know her from the most, though, is she probably said something once like, Stan Lee is sort of dumb, and then like, CG did, like 30 5-hour long streams about it or something.
Yeah,
like, she probably said something like really minor.
She probably called Stan Lee a rapist or something. She's like a hardcore feminazi.
But the thing is, yeah, what happened first was we basically we drove her to the brink on accident just by goofing on her, and she had to.
She obviously can't handle
feminist ally.
She cannot handle the idea of being made fun of. Also, that's for sure.
Yeah, so she I have screen caps of a giant Twitter thread of like the guy from Comics Alliance who beat the shit out of his girlfriend, which only came out like years after, but and then Noel Stevenson and Jess Fink and like other feminist comic creators, and then the male feminist allies, and they're all replying to each other, being like, "Oh,
why are all male feminists sexual predators?"
Yeah, that's another thing, is that every single one of them, I'm sure, raped somebody.
Every single one.
For real.
I still have more sympathy for male feminists than I do for actual sympathy feminists.
Maybe pity is more the correct word.
Pity is a good word. Yeah.
Either way.
Either way.
Mark Pellegrini says, "Rip Nasser's stream and its impending takedown via BS notices from Pucker Ramos."
It's totally going to happen.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Here's the thing, is that what Liam doesn't understand is, taking down our channel, we just jump to the other channels now. You're going to have to take down all of them. You're going to have to go after every person who
strikes us down.
That's right. We got Bean from PA in the chat here.
Right.
And she says that she hated CG before it was cool. I can verify that. Bean was one of the OG. How do we do this now? Now it used to be
not
OG,
even OG
CG
anymore. Not OG anti.
OG anti.
Oh, my goodness.
They actually went after her the hardest. They didn't even go after us so much because they were kind of afraid. They did, our channel got struck like in 2015 and we got a lot of flags that were generally ignored around 2018. Yeah, she was like,
they like to target
really
women. Like
her.
a big part of the thing is they really like to target women because I guess they think they're easier targets or something like that, or they won't fight back as hard, or I don't know what it is, but they just have a weird actual hatred of women. That's very bizarre.
Of fear too. I think there's a lot of fear involved, especially because the women they go after usually go back like 10 times harder, and then all of a sudden, comics.
Maybe they're into it.
Orders for fucking.
Of course, it's especially bad optics for if a woman is against your cause.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's usually a big signal.
Usually shouldn't mean anything, but in this case, it's funny how it actually does mean something. Like when being from PA or like Vicky or Sashi and just all these people. It's funny how Comicsgate goes after them. Like usually, if it's someone went after a woman, it's like, haha, take that, you broad. But in this case, it's like, wow, it's women who actually are innocent.
They know they have to. They know they have to stamp down, because otherwise, if it gets out at all, they're hoping to silence them, as they're hoping to do with us.
Mm-hmm.
They know if the information gets out, it makes them look 1,000,000 times worse.
I remember when Liam tore his brain over Sashi when he tweeted something super dumb, and he's like, I don't remember. Are we supposed to like Sashi or not? Because
I know you're smearing Liam Gray now.
Because she works with Nurkish, but she works with Zach.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember the clips, the stream clips of him just being baffled about not even knowing how to. Like, Zach, she just did a drawing for Zach's book, but don't we hate her?
He wasn't able to keep up with the narrative.
Yeah, and it's like, why do you even focus on that? Who cares what some artist does for somebody? Why would you even care?
Well, I mean,
the reason they care is because they're always looking for drama.
That's their whole movement, though.
Oh my goodness, this message is giving me a headache. I don't even understand how to read it.
OGCG, war campaign.
Oh, no, this is
becoming anti-war campaign. Mirror.
First language. I know this guy. English is not his first language, so sometimes it's a little.
Oh, okay.
Still on EVS payroll. Anti-CG, being CG at heart. Still finding every excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that we're on EVS's payroll?
No, he's talking about war campaign.
Well, when he says anti-CG,
the original Comicsgate being like making excuses for how they made excuses for war campaign and stuff. Like you see a lot. That's something we've actually been saying, we've been seeing it today. I saw somebody being like, "Well, it's not really. You guys kind of invited it, and it's kind of your own fault and that kind of shit." And it's like, all the original OG Comicsgate people, for some reason, keep finding a way to make an excuse for how Comicsgate wasn't really wrong.
Well, never once will you ever hear somebody in Comicsgate say, hey, this is wrong. This deplatforming somebody who is a critic, that's wrong. Or attacking somebody, doxing one of your own customers because they asked for a refund on your book you never delivered. Mm. That's wrong. They never say that. That's how you know that they are.
They just do the big deflect and they go, "You're the doxer."
Or also, if they ever denounce it, it's always out of context. They're like, "I am against false flagging." It's like, well, how about in this situation? They never say what the situation is. They're just like, I am against this.
And they certainly never say it.
What about in this situation?
The thing is, you know how disingenuous they are because they never say it up front. It's the first thing you should say if you hear a story like this.
The funny part about his message, though, when he says anti-CG being CG at heart, that reminds me of all those dudes that they quote unquote left CG, but then when Ethan and War Campaign sort of split, they were like, Ethan should have listened to us all along. Now we could go back to 2018 when we were simping for Ethan. It's like they're just really desperate to go back. They're like, no, CG was a good idea from the start. It just got a little, distract
Ethan
off the rails.
That's the new narrative is Ethan ruined the movement somehow. It's like, no, the movement was shit from the beginning. But
half the time,
stepped in.
Half the time, those dudes don't even say Ethan was the problem. They're like, no, War Campaign was the problem. Ethan could still be salvaged. If he just focused on comics. I see that all the time.
That was funny.
Yeah, they
pretend
like
War Campaign didn't comics.
Then.
I sort of missed what you said because you guys talked over each other.
Yeah.
Well, what I said was more important, and also
what I said was
not as likely to have been heard. I need to say it.
I think they make everything a garbled mess intentionally, and then you're like,
whenever I say anything, it's the most important thing that needs to be said.
But me also, more.
But me more than.
But actually, But the doctor just called and said, "Psych."
All right, John, I give you your wrench back.
Yes, I'm totally gonna
Okay.
use it.
And
Yes,
we've
yes.
got 24, 25 people in here, so hit the thumbs down for old time's sake for SWC's channel.
Don't ban Furious TV. I know him. He is cool.
No, I just misunderstood Furious. Sorry about that, my man.
But hit the thumbs down if you guys want in remembrance of SWC's channel.
Yes,
or hit the thumbs up. It doesn't matter. And
Unlike resubscribe, don't hit the bell for notifications.
Right, and it is October 1st, so it's a great time to read some horror comics or horror books. Skinny here has his horror comic, Otis Stein, that I'm putting in the chat right now.
Scary month.
And I'm about to put the link for my horror books. But Skinny, if you want to talk about your book, go ahead. This is a super shill stream, so we're mostly here to shill anyways.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got
I do have a couple alt accounts on YouTube that I can use, but it's like now I gotta re-add. I have to resubscribe to a bunch of people that I wasn't subscribed to at first.
Oh wait, the wrench didn't work. Here, let me try this again. There we go. I just did it a second time.
This Asian finance.
third time's the charm.
Oh boy, it's not. I don't know why it's not working. But Skinny, if you want to pitch your book, go ahead. There's the link in the chat, guys. It's also in the description.
Yeah. When Otis meets his untimely demise, his newly widowed wife Mary uses dark magic to bring him back. That's pretty much the pitch. That's all I'm going to say about it. But weird shit happens. You'll like it if you like horror. It's basically that one movie with that one guy meets that other movie with the other guy.
Nice.
So if you enjoyed that, then you'll definitely enjoy my book.
I really relate to that.
Oh boy, I'm about to put the link for everybody else's books real quick. So I'm gonna put Flying Sparks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me do that, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't have an account I keep forgetting. It's like, I got wrenched right. Oh no, I don't.
Yeah, well, everybody's books are in the description, and I've periodically been putting them in the chat. So
I don't even know if I should, because I mentioned I have another account I can just switch to, but it's like, should I even say what it is or post on it? Because it's like, then they're
going to go flag you if you do that. Yeah,
you're getting ban evasion, but it's an account I've had since. Let's see, I'm not even sure if I can.
Yeah, another account that predates their existence.
Yeah, let's see. Joined July 25th, 2011. It's actually way older than even the Shitty Webcomics.
Oh boy.
Because the Shitty Webcomics channel, we started in early 2015. Because this will be a nice, easy way to just answer asks on Tumblr. And we started doing a bunch of those podcasts where we would just read off questions people sent to us. And people would spam us with these short questions like, what do you think about that? It's sort of like, though, do you think the next Star Wars movie is going to jump the shark? It's like, I guess, yeah, it's going to jump the shark.
Yeah, it is.
But we would, we would just go through those, answer them, then delete them as we address them. So, there's plenty of fun.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun one to answer. Not to cut you off there. Why is there infighting within Comicsgate? What do you expect when you put a bunch of idiots in the room together?
There's not really infighting in Comicsgate. The movement's been dead for.
There's no Comicsgate at all anymore. It's kind of nice. I other than I'm sorry that you guys got taken down and harassed, of course. But nobody's bugged me for 4 or 5 months, and that just goes to show that they don't have that mob to sick on you like they used to. Maybe Liam's got 5 people to attack your account, but in general, it's a lot quieter than it ever was.
War Campaign basically fell apart. They turned on Ethan, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then they turned on each other.
Yeah.
It's pretty much always been quiet for me since I left, outside of the Donald situation, which supposedly he's shipping out the books on the 5th. So we have 4 more days until the next excuse. Somebody had said in a previous stream in the chat, they were like, his next excuse is probably going to be I can't pay you right now because I'm at the store buying Halloween candy for trick-or-treaters.
He's spending it all. Of course, he's buying it for himself.
Right. So we'll see what the next excuse is in 4 days. I think the next excuse isn't even going to be any delay. It's just going to be an email from him like, oh well, there's no money left. Like he's not even gonna like push back the date anymore. He's just gonna be like, yeah, they went out and I have no money for you.
What if he just pays you in candy?
Oh boy, it'd all be expired candy. It'd probably be Halloween candy from like 2 years ago.
It
He'll
doesn't
give you
sound-
$100,000 now, sir.
Yeah, he's gonna pay you $100,000.
Oh
So he's
boy.
going to give you a Toyota,
No.
and then it's a toy
I-
Yoda.
I don't mean to make light of the situation. It's a really douchey thing. You should get paid, dude.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fucking
definitely.
bull.
Yeah, that's actually the biggest thing out of all of this. If you think about it, that is actual fraud, actual
Theft.
problems and theft. Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas we can complain about like internet fighting, Fallout and stuff like that, but that's like a real crime.
Right, and like the fact that he said too, he's like, no, you don't get to see the accounting because you're not my employee, even though I created the character, the entire backstory, and he basically used all the connections I had. Like, if it weren't for me, I guarantee he'd never be on Ethan's show. If it weren't for my rep putting out Stardust, no one ever would have been like, oh yeah, this team can be trusted. Because I put out that book on time. I put it out before Ethan, Mike, Mitch, any of these guys with a book, like that, most of them still aren't even out yet. Like Critias, all those guys, they don't even have books out. I was the first one. We launched that in July, and people had it in September.
You were the
So,
first one I got.
Yep. So,
Yeah, the first ever Comicsgate related book to even release.
yep. And so, like, I put
And
it out before.
then suddenly you're not in Comicsgate anymore.
Right. Funny how that works. Funny how that
Yeah.
works. And funny how they're all like patting him on the back now. Like they used to be like, oh, Nasser's our guy. He stood up to CB Cebulski at a convention. He's our guy. And then suddenly they're like, no, you're an SJW because they told us you are. So Donald, don't pay this guy. He doesn't deserve to get paid.
It's funny how it gets thrown around. Just the whole the accusation. It's not even about the accusation of SJW. Just the accusations get thrown around, and it's like, but where are the actual arguments? There aren't any. It's all about backing because everyone else just hears that and agrees just to agree. So it's about backing up a popular opinion instead of even thinking about what the opinion's supposed to be.
Yeah, and we actually have a question for John here. He said, John is always in bed or on vacation. What is happening?
California is
He's
shut
crippled.
down, so we are shelter in place. I work from home now, pretty much. So I just hole up in my nice, comfy bedroom and relax on stream like this. Pretty great. I just stick my laptop on my lap right here and have a good time. So
Oh boy, I'm
I can
doing
see the
another.
baby oil on your nightstand.
I'm doing another round of the links in the chat. So here's John's Kickstarter. Here's Villains of the Snow Sea. I'm about to put the link for Common America 2 in here, and then Otis Stein, and then I'll grab my books.
These are all comics that are actually getting worked on and getting released.
These comics actually exist.
yeah, I know.
Right.
I actually got to
$300 away from 50,000.
I got to go quick on mine. I'm less than 150 from 13,000, and I'm gonna try to get this out prior to November because I'm trying to launch another one on November 1 to get another one out before the end of the year. So going as fast as possible here. And this is what comics are supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to come out with a comic every month, or at least, Stan Lee never just screwed around, came out with a comic a year. So I figure as the Hispanic Stan Lee, I should work harder because Hispanics work harder than everybody else, right?
Right, but here's the links to everybody's books. They're also all down in the description. So buy everybody's books, and these are all done. All the art for these books are done. Like Otis Stein is done, and Common America 2, that's already done. Villains of the Snow Sea, if you order it now, you'll get it in 2 days. And Flying Sparks, that's all done, and that has like 15 issues I think that are all done already. So
yeah,
you guys got books here that you'll actually get pretty soon, including my 5 books. It's October, so it's the best time to order them. We actually sold 32 books last month, which was my second best month ever. My best month ever, I sold 38. We sold 32 last month, so it was really close.
All of us are growing too. We're getting, our comics are getting more and more money and selling more and more the more of them that come out.
And this isn't just without a dedicated support network. This is actually despite a support network that is attacking us.
Yeah, it's in the face of a dedicated support network that's against us.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Two in some cases, like
Ethan
they have
actually-
PWs and Comicsgate.
Ethan spite buys every single one of my books, every single one of them, and then gets it and then does a live stream about how awful it is, trying to tell his thousands of people not to check it out, not to buy it, and just torches the books just and completely unfairly because Ethan has no idea what a good comic book is. And he does it every single time. It's really shocking.
He
But,
can't even write. I mean, Ethan is like one of the worst. I would say one of the worst writers in comics. But then again, comics is like the bottom, beneath the bottom rung of writing ability.
Right. Comics is for stupid writers. It's a medium for stupid people.
Hey, I'm not stupid. I'm just lazy. I don't want to sit there and describe an entire room. I'd rather just pay somebody to draw it.
Well, that's one thing about that. Well, in a way, that's why I prefer comics. Is like I don't have to, I don't want to have to do all the like, oh, the sky was like this, and it's like, why not just show it? Just show the sky.
Yeah.
Somebody just unbacked me, Nasser. That's what I get for being on your stream.
No, hopefully they refund it to back at a higher tier or something, or to get an add-on. I don't know.
Well, you never know with people's ops. It's weird how in comic books people are like, they claim they're all about, oh, we're about good comics, but then constantly for the past several years they're constantly running ops, and usually against people who are on their own side.
Yeah. All the time.
Totally. Like there was this one really creepy one where this dude, and I should never have trusted him, dude. I don't know if he's actually gonna do anything with this, but he was a former war campaigner, and like when I started talking to him over in Zach's old Facebook group, I didn't really know that, and then so one day he's like, oh yeah, I have some comics I want to send you, and so I gave him my actual address instead of my P.O. box. And like months went by. He's like, yeah, I'm going to send it soon, man. I'm going to send it soon. And he never sent it. And so I'm just like, what did I give this guy my address for?
Oh, yeah, it's weird how often they want to like suspiciously get weird information. Like, and they always do it as being friendly and helpful in a time when you need it.
We just showed that evidence that Ethan's been farming our docks. He's been trying to get our docks. He admitted it.
Yeah, on Kiwi Farms.
Oh man, let's see. Jeffrey Turner, aka Mega Jetty 1, says thoughts on time travel just being used as a device to tell a story.
You mean like flashbacks, or somebody actually hopping in a time machine and going
You
back?
mean somebody hopping back in a time machine?
I don't know. My magnum opus is actually a time travel story. I just don't know what I want to do with it. I don't know if I want to keep. It was originally a comic, and I don't know if I want to make it into a regular book or keep it a comic.
I'm gonna make a hyper original time travel device where somebody goes back in time to literally kill Hitler. Wow.
Oh boy.
I'm too stupid to touch time travel, so don't expect
what if they went back in time and saved Hitler?
That'd be even better.
What if they went back in time and prevented the Weimar Republic?
Well,
Wow.
the Hitler thing actually reminds me, there's this episode of Red Dwarf where they actually do go back in time and they save Kennedy. And it turns out it fucks up all of history, so they actually have to go back and stop themselves and actually kill Kennedy themselves.
And then
Really
that became the
interesting
basis
episode.
for a Star Trek movie. Like Gene Roddenberry apparently was working for about 10 years to make a movie where Spock actually has to pull the trigger at the grassy knoll or something. And for real, and people are like, what's wrong with this guy?
Why the hell would you want to do a story about how Spock killed one of the most beloved presidents of all time?
Like horror. It's basically that one movie.
Oh, who's trying to steal my identity?
But I think I unpaused the stream. I was just clicked on the wrong video.
Oh boy, and I'm doing another round of posting all the books in the chat, so check out everybody's books. And let's see, Mark Pellegrini says JDA, but the question I posit to you, dear reader, is who is the real monster?
We are the real monsters.
So deep.
Common America 2, it's like 270 or 268 or 266 monies away from 50,000.
Yeah.
That should break
Sounds
like
like
within
that.
a day or two, no problem.
It's so worth it too. That first issue blew me out of the water. Like I was already reading Black Ops before I got the first common, and now I have a new favorite, like Common America all the way, especially with all the Easter eggs, man. Like,
Yeah, we're thinking of doing a review of it, but I guess that's not going to happen now. In fact, we sort of did. We mentioned it in our video because I posted.
So-
we recorded like 5 videos and then posted all of them yesterday, just all at once. It's like, here's all 5 videos. Who cares? And then all of a sudden our channel gets taken down.
I saw your tweets. Are you not going to be creating new content to put on the BitChute, or are you just?
I don't know. We might, but yeah, if it does, it might just be on BitChute. I don't know. But I mean, all we really wanted to do was make comics. The only purpose of the YouTube channel was to, post stuff that wasn't being said otherwise, or in this case, to make a point, because and the point is now officially made. Getting our channel taken down proves us right. What we were saying all along is that Comicsgate is in favor of censorship. And this just proves it. We don't need to, we don't need a new channel because the point's proven. The only thing we would need a channel for is just to try and promote, and we don't really need a channel to do that.
You actually do. I have it on high authority from John Malin that if you do not have 2,000 subscribers, you have no business.
That's
They actually said that to me even, and I'm like, but that's obviously not true, because if you make something and don't have followers, you're still making something.
I'm very glad he said that, and I think everyone needs to know he said it.
Right, they do. Everybody thinks he's this nice guy, and he's like one of the worst of them. Honestly, it's terrible.
The reason why Marvel didn't renew his contract was because he had mental problems.
Right.
And the only reason too for any writer to have a YouTube channel really should just be to shill. That's the only reason I'm on YouTube. I'm really just looking for people that are just going to buy my book. Like
Dave Sim has a YouTube channel. His videos are like 8 minutes, and he usually talks about what he's working on, and then he usually talks about why he's doing such and such work. I mean, he's got like some kind of problem with his wrist. So drawing is hard for him, and as an artist, that's a big deal. So he makes videos about that too. And
here's Cerebus Online, 1.22K subscribers. So he has 1,000 subscribers, but still not really much. But he posts every weekend.
It's not 2,000. Therefore, the guy who was basically the king of self-publishing in the 70s and 80s shouldn't even have a career, according to John Malin.
Yeah, John Malin thinks that Dave Sim shouldn't be making comics because he doesn't have 2,000 YouTube subscribers.
Well, the general rule of thumb is you just don't trust a man who doesn't have eyebrows.
Yeah, it's weird because he wears that stupid cap so low to cover up his lack of eyebrows. And it's like, okay, there's something going on with those eyebrows where he probably rips them out by his hand just compulsively, and he can't stop himself. So he has to wear the dumb beanie to cover it up. And it's like it's to hide a mental problem.
It makes him look like an idiot, that's for sure. He also talks like an idiot too.
Yes, he talks like a fag.
It's just really sad that they feel the need to push into gatekeeping because they feel like their pie is so small and it's never going to expand. So they gotta keep their little corner of it and just not allow anybody else to be seen who actually produces work.
It's true in their case. It is true for them.
It is true. They're on their way down. Yeah.
Because I mean, they're not appealing to anyone else. They have no appeal to general comics readers. They only have the appeal to the empty consumer collector.
Right.
Which is what Comicsgate was made to appeal to.
Which has already been a dead medium. That's just a dead market.
Yeah, but those people they do have are really happy to shill out whatever money they have. Like Ethan made, was it like in 8 minutes he made 100,000? Like he's still definitely got pay pigs that'll pay for it, even if he's not bringing in really new people.
Some of them might be just him, of course, and some of them turned out to be Dynamite Comics, which is really weird because why is a comics company funding an independent creator?
Well, it was kind of the other way around. I think they were trying to become the farm team to Dynamite, and it all kind of backfired on everybody.
Yeah, but it just doesn't seem to even have a point to it because again, it defeats it's like an overcooked steak. It defeats its own purpose.
They're stupid. They don't need a point.
Yeah, Well,
It's like those televangelists where
Yeah.
they always got people to give them money, and it didn't matter where the money came from. It didn't matter what they spent on it. What did I say? Build a water slide.
Oh man, Mark Pellegrini says I marathoned all of those Royal Up. 2 hour one was the best. Got me through some expletive spreadsheets at work.
Yeah, I plan to put those on the BitChute. So the thing is that there's a bunch of videos that are still unmirrored. The BitChute has almost every video. The thing that's missing though is like the dates, like the video about that Tug lied about where he said, "Oh, they threatened to kill my daughter or something," and we never did that. And that video was
That
up
he lied
the
about
entire
is
time,
up.
and no one ever looked for it. But that was up there, and the date was on there to prove, the dates would match right up, and anyone could go look up at that. Now the channel's gone, so people can't even do that. And there's all sorts of other situations like that where
And I'd be bothered by that, but let's face it, the entire audience, the fandom, the medium, they don't care that they're being stolen from, so let them get stolen from.
Well, yeah, comic book fans ultimately don't really care about, what's right or, morally correct even. They just want to be catered to. They want to be told what they want to hear. And then if anyone, like if something came out that showed that there was corruption on their side, instead of being like, oh, we got to get rid of this corruption, they would always be, Comicsgate would always be like, we got to find a way to cover this up. And
What's that
that
noise in
only
the
increases
background?
the corruption.
Am I the only one that hears that?
Well,
Yeah, because I don't hear shit.
no,
Just this
Oh,
annoying
wait.
brown guy
I
talking.
am so dumb. It just started to rain outside my window, and I'm like, who's got water on?
the sound of
I
rain.
legit thought I had background noise because I am outside and there's a lot of traffic out here.
Oh my goodness, I had a dumb moment. Shen Yango says, "Gonna miss y'all's YouTube, although the Discord is far superior." Anyways, I don't like Discord, so I'm not in it. But I couldn't stop laughing at the one screenshot you guys posted when it said something like, "Tomorrow, Ethan's gonna fake congratulate Doug on his Kickstarter getting funded," and then that's exactly what he did.
Oh yeah, that actually happened. That was bizarre because even I didn't expect it to happen that soon.
It's not that bizarre. It's
It's not really bizarre.
people act like we're some kind of Nostradamus or something. No.
But yeah, it was funny. We said that. Oh yeah, Ethan's gonna pretend like he was all in favor of Doug's funding, and then within hours, Ethan was like, "Oh, Doug did a great job with making all this money." Basically trying to
Doug, the guy who
credit
is
for it.
a traitor and a homophobe.
Yeah. Well, he said the same stuff Doug used to, or Ethan used to pull the same thing with Tim, where he actually said, "We helped Tim's campaign get this amount of money." And it's like, no, Tim's book got that. You didn't get him the money. The money came to him.
He earned that himself.
And the thing is, there's less money these days because not only of the lying, but a lot of people are just swearing off crowdfunding comics.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that have
Problem
gone on
with this.
overall in the market. There's huge different things. One is all the major creators are keeping their books up like year round, so a lot of the money goes there. Number two, we're in COVID times, so I've gotten more than 20 messages just saying, "Hey, I'm not even going to be able to make it during the campaign. Please save a book for me. I'll buy it later," which makes it hard. Number three, everybody and their mother is making their own comic because Comicsgate is this like pyramid scheme where they like teach everybody, oh, you can do it too once you get 2,000 subscribers, but you can do it too, and you could be just like us, making money. Back our book, and maybe we'll return you a favor by retweeting your book, in a couple months here.
The ultimate message
That's
of Comicsgate is, hey, you can promise a comic and never deliver it. Just don't even make a comic.
Don't even make a comic. Yeah.
It's like Amway, basically, except you don't even sell people the toothpaste.
I remember one of them yelling at me, and I was like, hey, you're just getting this because of the crowd thing, and like we need to work on actually getting people to care about the book because this isn't going to last. The guy got so mad at me in DM. He was like, people are backing it because they know I'm quality. I'm like, you've never come out with a book before. How would they know your quality? Like it doesn't exist, and they don't know your quality because you've never done anything before. It's like, well, they just know. I'm like, oh, yikes.
A lot of these grifting campaigns too could have been avoided if somebody had just said, "Yeah, you can make your own comic, but it's fucking expensive."
It is, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
a
the
lot
truth.
of Comicsgate seems to miss the point too. Is that there's not really, the overhead is, pretty much it eats up 90% of the profit.
Yes.
Like all of that gets just eaten up into,
Oh, for real.
Especially if you're
printing and shipping.
especially
real.
if
And
your
then-
only desire is to print a book.
And then like they're so done with it too. Like Critias was like, I was paying the inker $80 a page, and I didn't know that wasn't a good rate. And I'm like, on what earth does an inker for an indie comic get $80 a page? Like that's what they might get. I don't know, maybe at Marvel.
I see it a
or something.
lot. And I see the other thing I see is very high fund rates on the Kickstarters. I backed one today. It's like a 22-page book, and they want $13,000 for it. And I'm sure that's their actual cost. But it's like, guys, to get $13,000 on a 22-page book is really difficult. I mean, you're talking, because that's like a $5 digital, $10 physical sort of setup. You're gonna have to get 1,000 backers to get that, and not many books ever get that. It's just like, you guys have to understand. You gotta think that you're think realistically. Basically, is where it comes from.
Yeah,
And
I say. Oh, go on.
Even though I identify as a Jew, it still costs me like $2,400 to
Yes.
get my book done.
Yeah, like
straight out of my
the
pocket.
artist.
This is before the campaign, everything.
Mhm.
And I pinch pennies like a son of a bitch too. So
Right.
if it costs me $2,400, somebody not knowing how to look for good deals and yada 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 is easily going to spend like $13,000.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
if you pay like $100 per page, which is about the standard, in fact, it's low if anything.
That's
But
low.
it's, it's a relatively decent price, but $100 per page for like a 24-page book will be $2,400. It's pretty. The math is almost too simple that even I can figure it out. But
that math changes though once you're the artist. The math completely changes
that's
when you
as
are
a writer, you have to be willing to accept no money at all. And
Right.
the thing is, what's happening now, of course, and has been happening since the beginning, is ever since like Comicsgate started, lying about us and attacking us just for pointing out the times that they actually lie. All of a sudden, we're getting artists who are like, wow, you guys are being really cheated and ripped off by, you're being basically slandered by Comicsgate. And they're like, I've met artists who are like, hey, what if we work together on something? And that's how we already put out a comic. Villains of the Snow Sea was by an artist who was interested in Comicsgate at first, and watched the entire the whole slander just come out against every person coming from Ethan, and that we had done videos about it, pointing it out in public. And so he was just watching our videos, and then he just messaged me, and it was like, hey, and he was a pretty good artist. So I was like, well, what if you worked on this? And so we're just working on this comic now. And I won't say how much I pay him. Let's just say that it makes it very easy to deal with when it's somebody who actually somebody who's sympathetic and actually realizes how we've been lied about by an entire movement that's continuing to be backed up. The lies are continuing to be backed up and reinforced by what's left of a movement. And it's still, the movement's shrinking more and more, and it's shrinking because of this behavior. But the thing is, it's getting us to actually make books now. And so we're now out producing Comicsgate officially, just because Comicsgate couldn't stop lying about us and trying and actively working to deplatform us. And
it's really sad, because on the indie level, the American comics community is so brainwashed already that, like, oh, it doesn't say Spider-Man or Batman on it, I'm not even buying it.
Right,
I'm not even looking. And to get past that's so hard already. Like, I mean, in a perfect world, we all really should just be coming together, because the rising tide does lift all boats. And if we can overcome that stupid system where freaking Disney and Warner Brothers just like flood the markets and destroy everything, we could do it together and build something so much bigger. And I I just wish these guys would have any real business sense.
Yeah, if the fans themselves actually had some kind of moral or principle to them,
Right.
and they want to prove that they don't, though. But again, it's only positively benefiting us now, and that's the thing. Comicsgate's not realizing is that they're just they're making us win. Essentially, we're winning the argument, but now also, people are coming to us to help get our comics made, and now we've already outproduced most of.
Well,
comics.
that's pretty interesting that that it had that effect with you, because for me, all the artists that I was potentially going to work with, they were all like, well, if you're not going to make that much anymore, because my first campaign made 16,000, my next one made 23,000, and if we count Brutus in between, that one hit 39,000. And every artist I was talking to was like, well, if you can't really hit that much anymore, I don't think we could work together. Well, Jason on Secret Comics Presents was like the only artist that would still work with me, but that was different though, because we had already talked about that for like a whole year before we started our book.
Jason's such a good artist too. Oh
Yeah.
man, he's a great guy too. Yeah.
But
a lot of that is those artists who would back off. Usually, it's because they not in every situation, of course, but usually it's because they were somehow friendly to Comicsgate.
Anyone who has already drunk the Kool-Aid like that, you don't want to work with, no matter what.
And again, that predates Ethan. It doesn't get pointed out enough. That the drinking the Kool-Aid predates Ethan Van Sciver having any involvement in Comicsgate. Anyone from day one, I say, is not worth trusting. And that's the thing, is that our thing, Shitty Webcomics, has been around for 10 years now, just as a blog, just a little blog. But we have a lot of artists who followed us, and the thing is, they know who we are. They're familiar with us, at least. So we have a standing with them and with ourselves that speaks to a legitimacy that again predates Comicsgate. And the channel actually was part of the proof of that, because I could point to the channel and say, see, this has existed since before Comicsgate ever existed. And, them getting the channel down just shows how much they want to hide that, how they're afraid of it, in fact.
Yeah, I think most artists are really stupid, honestly.
Artists aren't really necessarily smart. They're not just because they can draw doesn't mean they know how to live or anything.
And part of that too is not just on them for being stupid. It's for these writers who act like the artists are like gods. This is also a point in why comic book writers suck. My book that's coming soon. I'm in the middle of draft 2, but that's one point in it was that comic book writers are so scared to correct their artists, where they're like, no, please don't redraw a page. You're so incredible because you could draw a face, which them being able to draw anything really means nothing if there's no story behind it. You could draw the prettiest face in the world, but if there's no story, it's garbage and you're not an artist.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but a lot of art, it's just like a practiced hobby in a way. But artists themselves, I've seen that sucking up to an artist just because they can draw for going back even in the just the regular 2000. I remember I knew a bunch of furries, in fact, and I knew some furries who would be treated like a god just because they could draw, until they said something that's I don't even really like John Kerry, and then all of a sudden, oh, this guy's a piece of problematic furry, submit him to furry trauma or whatever. And it's that's usually the counterpoint, the love-hate relationship. Somebody can only hate somebody that much because they loved them at first. And it's that worship of artists just because they can draw. That's really, it's meaningless, but people still do it and probably always will.
Lisa says, should have listened to EVS. About what?
Oh yeah, that's something he said. That was funny, actually. Is that EVS today? And it was funny because yesterday in one
he does these little. This is why it's really funny. He does these little dog whistles to show that he actually watches all of our channels religiously.
Yeah, like that was
and so,
a
like,
point.
he knows all of our lines and he says them all the time. It's very bizarre.
No, that was a point. Like Thomas was about to say in one of the 5-part videos they posted where they
Just
made
yesterday,
this exact
we
point.
recorded it like the day before, and they were going up yesterday. And yeah, one of those points was that EVS not only watches our videos, he makes specific verbatim references to them. And one of them is should have listened to SWC.
Or like when you guys said something about like Ethan's mentally ill, you guys talked about mental illness. Like the next day, he used those same ones on his stream.
Yeah, Ethan Van Sciver never called anyone mentally ill until after we pointed out and proved that he actually has a mental illness. That was 2019, like early 2019.
Oh man, K Blonde says a lot of comics are out there by artists only that are crap, but some can manage both. You mean like books written and drawn by the artist? There's only like 2 max good books that are written and drawn by the same person. One of them's Rachel Rising, the other
Rachel
one's
Rising.
Bill.
John Byrne's pretty good. So
It's a really rare because that's the thing is that being able to write and being able to draw are 2 completely unrelated skills, and being able to combine those skills is so rare because it means somebody who spent all that time learning to draw also had to either spend all that time learning how to construct a good story or do it right, or they just did it by accident or something. Like I think the guy who did Origin, I think he's a Korean artist. But and he does Dr. Stone now, I think, and he's a really good writer actually, and I think it's almost by accident because not all of his stuff is great, but he's a fantastic, really detailed artist. But I think he just sort of has maybe an innate understanding of some of the good writing aspects and how to do it. Plus, the standard for writing is I won't say low, but it's like you don't have to be a good writer necessarily so much as a popular writer, and that's actually the standard.
That's like that for everything, and especially with comics, like it's so hard to find like a decent comic book writer. Like a lot of these campaigns, well, I haven't backed a lot of them that do this well, but they'll get like $200,000, and then I get the book, and I'm like, why did this raise this much? Compared to so many other great books I've gotten that they didn't raise a fraction of that.
Cyberfrog got. I mean, he even claims he got $1 million for Cyberfrog. He didn't, by the way.
No.
Yeah, that's another thing is that the measurements of the money just get the actual measurements get ignored. Nobody ever digs into that. And that's one of the other things that we were even pointing out in the video, but that is still true, is that nobody digs. Nobody ever does any digging about it. Nobody looks into the numbers. Nobody says, okay, like 10% of this or 5 to 10% of this is going to Indiegogo.
But like at the same time,
40% is for shipping.
Kind of boring stuff. That's why.
Like when I read Jawbreakers and Graveyard Shift, like those were just like so hideously written, and I'm just wondering who is continually giving money to such awfully written books. Like no
one's actually giving them money.
like John's book, The Cosmic Warrior. I still need to get issue 2, but issue 1 better than all those books I got from any of those dudes. And also literally number 1. I still need to get Villains of the Snow Sea, but literally number 1. Those 2 books absolutely destroy all those Indiegogos I got. And I think Otis Stein will be there too.
If you actually write a script in advance, you're light years ahead of these guys because they actually just start drawing and have no idea where they're going with this stuff. They've admitted on streams, and it's
they even said that with Brand, with the comic Brand.
Crazy.
They were like 3 or 4 crowdfund attempts in when they finally got funded, and then it wasn't till like partway through, like they were in demand for a few months, and then there was an update like, oh, so I just finished the script, and I'm like, you've said you've had this story in your head since 1998, and you've run 3 other campaigns that didn't get funded, and now you finished the script? Like, what was your plan for all those other campaigns, and what have you been doing in all that time?
And the plan was money.
Right. It's been almost since I was born. I was born in 97, and Antonio Bryce was like, yeah, I got the story in 98. So since I was born, he did no writing.
When you were 0 years old, he didn't do any writing.
Oh my gosh, I just looked up Brand. Brand just got to 100% fulfillment like this month.
Oh,
no, it's not even there. Wait a minute.
2015 or
a
something?
1,000 orders left to process. This was August 31st, so it's still not fulfilled
Oh
yet.
man, I got my copy of it pretty early into his fulfillment,
Wow.
but I didn't read it though because I read part of the preview, and I really hated it. Like the preview was basically this. It was like two dudes are like on a mission, and then the guy's like, I wonder where Bob is, and then it like cuts to Bob on his mission, and then he's like, oh, I wonder where Bill is, and then it cuts to like Bill on his mission, and it was just like so weird. It was just like these people on little missions, and they're like, I wonder where this other guy is.
Yeah,
it cuts to
the
the other
team
dude's
book,
mission for like 2 minutes.
starting with the team book. That's the same thing Richard did.
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, let's start with a bunch of characters who aren't fleshed out instead of one character.
Or the young blood.
Yeah,
Right, that's actually one
Youngblood,
point-
Also like Lone Star, of course, which that's another video erased from history. Now that our channel's gone,
I recently rewatched that one. It was genius.
I mean that should still be on the bid shoot at least for sure.
But no, that's a point I didn't add yet to why comic book writers suck, but I should, because I always said that their first comic is always a ripoff of Alien or Mad Max or something. I forgot to add the team book. That's also one of them where if it's not Alien, it's a team book. Which, like, if you look at like Liam Gray's like awful book, whatever it is, like it's clearly Alien. And like you said, I think like Guyver was the other thing they were trying to rip off.
Yeah.
And like all these books, like if you look at them, it's clearly Alien or like some Mad Max like weird post-apocalyptic book where it's just some
It's
like
actually
angry
not
guy.
even enough of a. That's another thing. Xenotype wasn't even enough of a ripoff to have a coherent story, because if you ripped off Alien, at least Alien has a structure to it. Xenotype didn't have a structure. It was like, there is bad guy. Oh no, I will fight him. The end. That's the entire comic.
Like that's exactly what I expect from these dudes when they rip off Alien. Like it's just like 5 people that are like really like angry and serious, and so like every panel is going to be like an up close shot, and they're like they just have their lips pulled back, and you like see all their teeth because you got to show how angry they are, and like that's half of whatever his book is, and then like all the people that do like the post apocalyptic books, it's always something like, here's this dude, he's a loner and like he carries a staff, and then like he comes across like some kid that he would never care about because he only cares about himself, but he like helps this kid like cross a river or something.
Oh yeah,
and then he like takes him under his wing.
I'm too much of a badass to have empathy, but then he learns empathy.
Right,
Uh,
right. But then it's like
I
it's like
that
funny
they do
though, because
that,
like,
though.
huh?
I said I like that they do that though, because like when I come around and like rip off, the Andy Griffith show for my book in a way, I really stand out.
Oh boy, but no,
yeah,
but like it's like
that's true.
Andy
They make the
Griffith show.
competition so much easier.
But like it's so funny because it's like it's always like then the dude, he like saves the little kid, or like not even saves him, he like helps him cross a river or something, and then like they become pals for like no reason on earth. Like he's known this kid for 3 minutes, and he like takes him under his wing, even though he's a loner that cares about nobody. He still decides to take the kid under his wing, and then the kid like eats like the last apple that they had in their little bag of food, and then they split. And then exactly where the story goes, because like then later towards like the end of the story, he like barely arrives in the nick of time to save the kid from some like, I don't know, wild hunter or something, and then it's like that's basically how it goes.
It's something anyone who's consumed any post-apocalyptic story has already heard a million times before. But this one sounds even less original.
Right, but they like all like they think there's some genius writer because they're like, this is my gritty post-apocalyptic book, or like this is my Alien ripoff. We're like, nothing happens. It's just like a big spaceship, and there's some like alien, and somebody has like some suit or something. Like it's just extremely dumb.
Which is a pistache of ideas usually, especially. It's just
Well,
like, it's
kid.
an alien, but also guess what? There's Predator. I was like, okay, wow.
I've been here for over an hour, and I have to get back to writing because I can't really write while I'm on a stream, which is a sad advantage that artists have over us because they can draw on streams, but I can't do a story and talk at the same time.
Artists are really ungrateful.
Yes, artists have it so easy.
All right,
So
later,
easy.
John.
So
Well, here's the link for Flying Sparks.
15 hours left. This is volume 4, 15 issues. How many indie books go 15 issues, guys? I mean,
Almost none of them.
Almost none of them.
Yeah, there's
And there will be
More
more.
of them if they
We're
have-
committed to 3 more at the very least to close out this for volume 5. Our artist Jethro Morales this week, if you didn't see the news, just got picked up by Marvel Comics. So we now officially have somebody actually working for Marvel Comics currently on our book, which is more than anybody in Comicsgate can say for themselves. So, all right.
I highly
Thanks,
recommend
guys.
the book
Peace.
too.
Yeah, and
1
Skinny
through
likes it.
3 were great.
There you go.
All right. See
All right,
you.
guys. Thanks. Good to see you, Skinny. Skinny, hop on my stream sometime to promote your book in the next couple weeks or something. So,
Yeah, just slide into my DMs like a thirsty boy.
oh, baby.
Let me know
You
when.
know it. All right. See ya. Bye, guys.
Peace.
See ya.
All right, and I'm putting everybody's links again in the chat. There's Flying Sparks, there's Villains of the Snow Sea, there's Common America 2, which is really close to $50,000. I'd love to see him get there. I'd love to see him get to 100,000. And of course, Otis.
I like to see
here.
him get to $1 billion.
Even then, all I really, especially just love to see is them keep making books. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I want to see
Oh,
the
definitely.
comic. That's really what I want to see is the comic because it's just a good comic. I mean, all the competition stuff is like it's window dressing in a way, but it's like the actual comic is like, oh, this one's so good. Like Common America was so good. It was kind of shocking because I liked the Black Ops comics. Like, oh, they're fun, but Common America then was. It was like because it was like socially relevant in a way that you don't even expect. Like when you think socially relevant, you think like dumb woke, like oh, it's got a political message or something. But it doesn't. It's got something better than that, and it's hard to even explain that.
Right, and and especially with such a trash medium of comics, like it's so impossible to actually find a good comic. And then so it's like when you read Common America, you're like, oh my goodness, like this is like one of the only 20 good comics that exist. There's only 20 good comics out there, and it's one of them.
It's just a happy, nice comic. And then, the sequel coming out, it's like, oh, this is going to be, and I already know it's going to be good. It's one of those things, because I remember Comicsgate always being like, well, we know Cyberfrog's going to be great. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't know anything about that. And then it came out and
you know that it won't be great and that it will take an eternity just to get maybe nothing. Because that's his track record.
That was another thing we were pointing out in our videos is that Ethan Van Sciver would never have finished Cyberfrog if it wasn't for us making fun of him about it on the stream.
That's the key thing. It's not that he was late. It's that he was never going to produce anything until somebody called him out. And it just happened to be us, which is why he hates us.
Yeah, we shamed him live on stream. And on a stream that he thought he was going to... Oh, there was another thing is that... apparently, months later, Ethan Ralph had EVS on again, this time without any callers on. And it's like, if that doesn't prove
I
that
didn't
Ralph
know he made another
showed
appearance.
bias. Like Ralph was, like Ralph was openly biased in favor of it.
In case anyone actually trusts Ethan Ralph, you need to stop that right now.
It's because a lot of people don't think, and people now know what we were saying about Ethan Ralph is that he's just as he's basically a shill that for people who basically bought him off, but it's true for a lot of other people, and people can't admit it because they don't want to. But the thing is, if we've noticed it at all, that means it's definitely true. That's how it turns out every single time. And the thing is that one of the big giveaways of that is that they don't want to have anyone on to. So, like, they either think that if they have someone on to disagree with EVS, it's like, oh, this guy's a nobody, nothing will happen. And then they get fucking shocked when they're like, wait a second, this Ethan just lost the argument here. And, usually what they do is they start changing the subject or misdirecting, which happens so often. But, what they also do is they make sure to never do that again. So they either ensure that EVS is going up against like some crazy guy, or they just don't have anyone else up against Ethan from then on. And
most of these,
it's a dead giveaway.
Most of the debates, they usually give like an easy opponent. Like if there's ever like a CG like debate, they usually never put anybody credible on. They'll put on like the dude that is just like, because there's a ton of these dudes that are like, oh man, we need to just go back to what we were doing in 2018 before the drama. Like I'm anti-CG now, but CG, if it was still 2018, I'd be CG. Like all those dudes, like it's usually one of those dudes that just gets on and they're like,
who couldn't on their own make an argument. None of them ever had an argument to start with. that kind of thing. But or people who are just stark raving psychos or something, and they expect us to be like that when they have us on.
A lot of the people who were on with the that one first Ethan Ralph stream, the one we were on with, there's just a bunch of people who were just kind of whining.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that the other people who weren't us were just mostly like fucking just bitterly jilted and furious, and they had nothing to say except how angry they were.
Battered wife syndrome.
Yeah, they had battered wife syndrome, and that's all they had to say was basically like giving away the game of how they had battered wife syndrome. But then they had us on, and we completely took him to the carpet, and he wasn't expecting that, and that's why he made sure next time he went on with Ralph to not have anyone else on with him. Apparently, like, I didn't listen to it, of course, because fucking Killstream is really not that interesting. It's kind of
it was even the episode you guys were on, I was completely bored. I don't know if I even listened to all of it or if I just listened to
I didn't listen to it myself. I just listened to the part that we were on with.
Yeah, I muted it when I wasn't on.
Oh, and this is a gold question. Jeffrey Turner says, anyone not like Joe Quesada for ruining Peter/MJ and forcing DC to cut ties with Marvel? The answer is, who cares? I don't care about either company or what they do.
You know what the funny thing is, that I only know Joe Quesada because he ruined Peter Parker. And it's like, to me, that's just kind of funny, though. Like, people are, Spider-Man's ruined forever. And it's like, who cares?
Right.
But it is one of the dumbest, hilarious. It's like such a comedy of errors that they're like, okay, we're going to have Peter Parker make a deal with Satan in order to sacrifice his marriage so he can go back to being in love triangles, because Joe Quesada liked that when he was a kid. And it's like, that's such a comic book fan thing to do that no fan of comic books has any right to complain about it happening.
Right. And oh my goodness, if anybody...
Nobody really cared about Spider-Man except for like the dumb fans. Like if you're a real fan, you got on board with the X-Men cartoon.
Like if anybody's like, oh boy, I miss old Spider-Man. Well, then why don't you just go read it?
Yeah, go read old Spider-Man. They re-release it in giant phone books every year.
No, go get Comixology, and that way you can read it like on a big screen TV.
Yeah, or sign up for it like $10 a month. They'll just give you all the Spider-Man comics for free. Like the first 20 years of Spider-Man comics is like there for free.
The first 600 issues plus the Amazing Spider-Man plus the Incredible Spider-Man or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, 800 issues. Is that not enough for you? Go read it.
That's enough for a lifetime.
And a lot of that shit is not really readable anyway.
No.
Mark Pellegrini says, I'd love to see us make everyone smile. Also, I'd love to see a big pile of money.
Well, you'd think, like, in a real, like, non-corrupt fandom, basically you would be monetarily rewarded for good product. Thing is, you get monetarily rewarded for bad product and selling people, like, false promises and false hope. That's really... The thing is, usually every other medium and every other business that closes down, and it doesn't last forever. But in comics, it can last a really long time because nobody has any principles in comics.
Oh, Skinny had to go. He said his phone's dying. Ooh. Then we also have Hale in the chat saying, "Ha ha ha, cope more." This isn't really a cope stream. It's a super Shill stream. So
yeah. Also, it's the other side coping. The other side's been doing cope for months, years now, technically, if you want to measure it.
Right.
If you're capable of measuring it, which, most everyone else isn't.
I mean, all we're really here to do is just shill our books. Like, I'm putting the link here for Villains of the Snow Sea. Anything else we talk about just happens to come up. Like, we've talked about like 20 different things.
Books that actually come out too, by the way. These are not books that have been promised 2 years ago. For all we know, Cyberfrog still hasn't finished fulfillment. We have no idea. No one knows.
Yeah, nobody seems to even answer these questions, let alone ask usually. But yeah, our books being out, like literally number one is the one I would definitely recommend to everyone. Villains of the Snow Sea, I would only recommend for mature audiences. You have to be very mature and fancy.
Yeah, I'm gonna order Villains of the Snow Sea soon. I get paid, I think, on the 9th of this month. So when I get paid, that's definitely what I'm gonna buy next is Villains of the Snow Sea. But I loved literally #1. That cracked me up more than any other comic, probably.
Yeah, it's rare to see a comic book that actually can make anyone laugh. Like even on us, usually I'm even surprised if anyone likes my comics. But whenever I read a comic, even a funny one, I usually never laugh, even if I
Right.
like it or something.
Right, like I've read, I don't know, I've read funny comics where you get like that one like you're like, yeah, that's funny, I guess, and then it's just the okay book, but like your guys is like it's like every single joke landed.
Or
Like, I don't know, it was genius.
like Calvin and Hobbes, I loved. I really loved Calvin and Hobbes. Like when I was like 15, even I was not even borderline. I was completely obsessed, and I wasn't sure why. I almost thought it's serendipity. There must be something to this. So I bought all the books, and I really loved them, but I never laughed at them because I think I was just I was taking it really seriously. Like this is good. This is one of the best comics ever. And now it's like it was just meant to be funny, wasn't it? So. If I would go back to my 15-year-old self, I'd be like, here's a man who takes himself too seriously. But one other thing that I was pointing out too is the digital version of Villains of the Snow Sea. Like if you want to read it right this second, it's on Gumroad for $2. Just a straightforward, easy buy.
No need to wait for mail, and it
Right.
costs less.
Yeah, if that's like if you're okay with that. I mean, I know some people are like it's got to be a book, and it's like, well, what? Well, in that case, there is the book version.
I've never heard
Right.
a valid explanation for that, though.
Yes.
Right, and we've got 38 people in here, so hit the thumbs down in honor of SWC's channel. Thumbs up if you want. Share
sure
out
to
the link, I
unsubscribe.
guess. But also the most important thing though is to check out our books because you guys could get these things in about 2 days from Amazon, or you can read
What?
it.
Here's one thing is that when I ordered it, it took like a couple of weeks, and then when it finally shipped, it shipped like in 2 days. Like the date on the back of the book was like 2 days before
did you
I got
order
it.
like the author copies from
Yeah.
inside the dashboard? Because when we order our own books, our author copies, they put that on the back burner. So anybody buying it for like full price, like that goes out right away. But when
Well,
we
that's
get
good.
our comp copies or whatever you want to call them, they usually put that on the back burner, and then ours will ship out in a couple weeks. So like I just bought some copies of my latest book, and that took like I don't know, a week to get to me, but anybody else buying it because they're paying full price, they'll get it in 2 days.
That's good then. I know a guy in Europe who got the physical edition, and I'm not sure. Like he bought the physical edition of Literally, but I think it took a while to get there. But I can't speak for the Europe the print situation there. But I
Yeah.
think he did get the print version of Villains of the Snow Sea, which goes to show you don't have to pay $25 or $50 to have shipped. To have a physical comic book shipped from me to you if you can just get the book on Amazon and it does that print on demand thing where it'll be printed like at least somewhat locally and just shipped either across a country or within your country or something. I think that's really cool that you can basically nullify one of the biggest problems of the whole physical comics market is that especially in crowdfunding, which now we don't even necessarily need to do crowdfunding, or at least not as much. But the whole situation is just evaporated because the shipping costs are just local now with the print on demand stuff, and I really like that.
Yeah, and I'm still gonna do some crowdfunding, but not as like nowhere near as much.
If you can avoid it, definitely avoid it.
Yeah, like probably like I don't know. This is not like official plans, so don't take this as any announcement, guys. But like I've been like toying around with numbers. I think maybe like if I did like Indiegogos to like even just real small ones, just to like cover like the cost of artists and whatever, and then later maybe do like collected editions or something. Put those right on Amazon, like because I only have 2 printed comics, and it's like the money situation. It's like, oh my goodness, like it's so expensive to pay an artist, but
Yeah, the whole comics community being so toxic too, the
Yes.
fans and the artists and the other creators.
Yeah, but like I'm trying to figure out how to make it like best for everybody. Like, because I already priced my Indiegogos cheap. Like my first comic Stardust, that was $5. Trixie was $20. No, actually, the cheapest one for that was 15. Actually, we had so that was 60 pages for $15 shipped. And then this last one, Secret Comics Presents, that one failed, but it was $12. So like I press those cheap anyways, but I'm trying to figure out like maybe do that, cover the cost of the artist, and then after you do the campaign, maybe do like a collected edition, put that on Amazon. Like there's a lot of options here. And a lot of different ways you could do things, and especially that and like different release strategies, like
and they're unexplored in a way. Like,
Yeah.
it's funny how long other people have been like, "Oh, comics," and here's how to do comics, but all they've ever talked about is crowdfunding.
Yeah, like they've shot me down, like all the CG dudes, when I said, why don't we put these on Amazon eventually? And you get like every response, dude, like, no, like it's not gonna, like the print quality, or like Amazon doesn't ship good, they're gonna damage it, and
You know
like
what? You
it's
know
so
what's hilarious about that? The print quality of Villains
it's
of the Snow Sea is better than the print quality of Cyber Frog,
right, like they act
objectively.
like they act like if you do print on demand, it's gonna be garbage. But like, no, like I like when Doug TeNapel, he unboxed one of my books I sent him one time. I think the Eclipse Theater, and when he opened it up on stream, he's like, "Wow, this is so nice. Like, if you said that this was some book you got from Barnes and Noble or something, I would have believed it." And because it's good quality,
Hmm.
Amazon does a great job.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's Amazon just sort of subcontracting to a print shop or some kind of printer, and
I
they
think they own their
do a good
printers.
job of. Yeah, that would make sense too, and it's like because then they could sort of afford to, I guess, undercut other printers. The thing is, I would definitely print with some of the other guys, like the guys that Doug and Tim print with. I would print with them for like
Like
a
a special
collected version
edition.
of Literally or something when the whole comic's done. But the fact is that right now, as sort of a stopgap, Amazon's copies are excellent,
Oh,
really good
totally.
quality.
Totally. And like the copy of Literally I got, the print
Mhm.
quality is great. It shipped great. There was absolutely no problems with it. Nothing at all. It's a great quality comic, and Amazon's a great option for all of us indies going forward. I mean, we don't have to keep any stock.
That's
I
yeah.
get a couple copies of my books and that's it. I probably have like 20 total
Yeah,
copies
not
of my
having to
own
keep the
books.
stock also, like not only not having to keep the stock and then not having to mail it out yourself, which I've done for
Yeah.
a few copies, like on the Patreon backers, people bought some of the super limited edition run that comes with like free Laley stickers and that kind of stuff. Um, and I mail those out, and that's no problem because I charge like a kind of a ridiculously high price because it's more of a fundraising tier than actually just buying the comic. That's how I justify it, anyways. But not having to do that for every single copy of the book, having Amazon just handle that, which is what Amazon was originally meant for. Amazon
Right.
started off as a book selling website, and now it's like you sell your own books and they manage the printing of the books and then the shipping of the books, and it comes out. It's shocking how good, like, the book is all smooth even, and the paper is just nice and clean.
Right, and it's really cost effective for everybody
Hmm.
at every single level. Like, because first of all, they're paying $10. My books are $10. Yours are $10. People
Hmm.
buying our books are paying $10. So then I get, I think, 240 off my books, that Amazon gives to me. I don't know how much you guys get, but
It's about
I'll
that, and I would
yeah,
like to charge less, but if I did, I wouldn't make any money.
yeah,
And
yeah.
in the future, I don't even want to admit this, but in the future, like some of these earlier issues, I do plan to drop the price. And I know I shouldn't say that because people are like, "Oh, just wait for that." But the thing is, at the same time, you can't have future issues come out usually unless you make some money on these earlier issues. So if you really want to see the future issues, you do kind of need to buy the book right now
Right.
before any price drop. But I do still plan to do that just for like the first issue, just so it's a good entry level price. But the digital option also, Comixology just accepted Villains of the Snow Sea to go up. So I think in a month that should be available, and that's only going to be $2. So like again, if you want the cheap option, the digital option is right there and immediate. But if you want like a good print edition, the print looks really good. And that's the thing, is that it's really what we need. It's what an indie creator really, a legitimate creator, not like a fake indie creator who's like, I'm an indie creator, but they have this weird suspicious backing with like Dynamite Comics, for example.
Right, and like a lot of indies, and like myself included, like I don't want the part of my indie career to be like, oh well, today's a packaging boxes days. Like I don't have to worry about any of that. Like I sold 32 books on Amazon last month, and Amazon shipped them all. Well, even probably 60% of those were ebooks, so no one had to do any shipping. People just read them. They read them instantly. So it's,
I think one of those was me. Even I think I bought
thanks.
Eternity or something.
Oh, thanks, man. But yeah,
And I want to make sure to, because it's good to support. It's like, hey, if you're even teamed up with somebody, it's like, I might as well at least buy a book to just support.
Right. Like I bought one of John De La Rosa's book, his steampunk book, but like I'm not going to read it because I don't like steampunk. But at least I bought it.
I think that's in a way I prefer that. It's like if you don't read it or don't like it, as long as you paid money for it, it's like
kind of
okay,
like it's kind of like even if you don't like concept for a book, but it's like, oh, it's an independent conservative voice or whatever, the very thing that you keep talking up, and then it's like, I'm not going to review the book actually because
right. Well, like I got his. Like I got John's ebook, but like even if I got the hard copy, or if somebody gets my hard copy of my book and they're like, well, I don't like horror, but I got it anyways. Like I don't know, they might have somebody they know who might want to read it. Like if they know somebody that likes that kind of thing. So
that's supposed to be the whole point of this to begin with, is like word of mouth, helping to spread the word. Viral,
right, and actually basing it on something, and not just being like, we want better comics. Okay, well, how do you want them to be better? Oh, we just want better comics. Like it actually has to be like about something.
It's not an argument. Mark also mentioning formatting the PDF on Amazon for self-publishing is a hassle. Formatting an ebook, especially for Amazon, is a giant nightmare because they want you to do the guided view thing yourself, where you select the area for your panel and you have to do it in sequence, and they give you, it's like, here's the software to do it. And I did do it for Literally, so there is an ebook version of Literally on Amazon, but I really prefer the Comixology version because, first of all, Comixology then does that for you, so I don't have to do it. But then it's on the unified Comixology thing.
I've read it too. The Comixology guided view. I made sure to go through. I always use the guided view with Comixology.
Yeah, I actually really, in a way, it's a
good job.
benefit for comic reading because you don't spoil any of the rest of the page ahead of time, and I think it's in a way better than reading a book physically to some extent. Is that you don't have to do the whole you put the plot twists on a page turn, which is good, and it's still a thing you should try to do. Have it in general.
Right, and like I don't really use Comixology. Like I've used it a few times, but since I prefer to have paper copies, usually I don't use it. But the times I have used it, I do like that guided view, especially because you don't got to keep zooming in and out and moving around.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that you don't even have to handle the zooming because the guided view just zooms. It will just full size whatever panel is next and that kind of thing.
Right,
and if it needs to zoom in on like a word balloon, they sort of understand that you got to do that, and it's pretty simple for them to manage it. I think they understand. It's like if it's word or if it's an important detail, that they sort of single that out for a zoom or stuff.
So like a splash page or like splash panel.
Yeah, that kind of stuff
appropriately.
Yeah, if there's specific details to show on it.
Again, even in whoever it is that programmed the guided view for the Comixology version of Literally, and it's like, zooming out the teleporter sequence, and it's like, oh man,
yeah, to show the full page. I think that's like a standard for them, like for Comixology. They beat that into the heads of the people who do the guided view coding and stuff, which it is nice to know that they're holding them to a standard.
And Mark says that he's got to go. Well, it was nice having you in the chat, Mark. Have a safe drive home, man. And here's the links in the chat for our books, of course, for Villains of the Snow Sea and for the Eternity trilogy. So if you guys want to go ahead and buy it, somehow our viewers got cut in half from 40 down to 22. But we still appreciate those of you that are here. You must have all left with Mark. But if you guys want to buy our books, here they are in the chat, and they're also down in the description. And if you want to support people that actually create books, you guys could go ahead and buy our books, and you'll get them in 2 days. Or if you want to get the ebooks,
you
read
can
them now.
pay for like the faster shipping too, but you kind of don't need to.
Yeah, or even better yet, they could just read them now. They could just get the ebooks and read them now on any device instantly.
Yeah,
They not even have to wait.
Villains of the Snow Sea, it doesn't have an ebook that's on Gumroad, but that will be on Comixology soon, and that's always a really good that's at least a good option. Why you would turn down any potential avenue for selling something, especially when it costs nothing.
Well, especially when it's like proven to be the best, like just a verified, most effective method. No matter how you feel about it.
And yeah, all of that's just holding to some kind of goofy standard, like a goofy principle. It's not a real principle, but a fake.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's not a real thing to believe, and
no one's ever had a realistic explanation for that either.
Yeah, I've the only explanation I've ever heard is like, people can pirate it, and it's like, yeah, people can pirate the print copies. People can pirate it if it's digital. And
They do that anyways, though. Isn't that what they do with the hard copies? I forget the names of like those pirating websites, but like there's some that have been talked about a lot where they're like piracy is killing comics, and then it's like, but they're just taking the hard copy, putting it on a scanner, and putting it on their website.
Yeah, and it's funny, a lot of those are still like, hey, if you like the comics, support the thing. Thing is that most of those comics aren't worth buying. That's why they're getting pirated, because
they cost like one volume of Berserk. I love Berserk. It's $15 a volume. It's insane.
Yeah. And it's a big comic though. It's like, maybe a couple hundred pages. And it's funny also is that those volumes of Berserk, they're not even 6x9. They're smaller than that, but they still look good.
Oh man, Diller Draw says every stream can't be a Super Shill stream. I'm out. I don't know if he's joking or if he's being serious.
Most of them can be though.
He's
I mean, what else are you going to do with YouTube?
But for real,
post videos that get you banned.
Right, for real. It's either get banned or just shill. Like I say this every time, but the only reason to be on YouTube if you're a writer is really just to shill.
Yeah.
It's just to spread the word about your books. That's the only reason I do videos or streams.
They want you to have 2,000 subs before you're allowed to be successful. And once you have 2,000 subs,
you're allowed to sell or make a comic.
Make videos complaining about Star Wars The Last Jedi.
That was the weirdest thing, is that they were unironically saying you got to have at least 2,000 subscribers just to make a comic book. And it's like, really? Because I've made comic books without any subscribers. It's clearly
a lot of people have made comic books before YouTube even existed.
Yeah, exactly. Explain that.
Right, but then they're like, but you're not going to get funded because the customers and the customers...
You got customers, and it's these customers who are screaming at you like, "How dare you only sell a comic digitally?" Or that one guy who is like, "You're selling comic, don't do this," and it's like, fuck you.
It's very
creator how they're going to sell their comic
and childlike.
It's like if the customer ever deserved respect, that's not the time. That's when the customer deserves disrespect.
This when you were saying customers, it reminded me of one part in one of your videos. I forget which one, when you guys were making fun of Richard when he was like, his brain like exploded, like even worse than Torrit, it like exploded when he was like, customers can't walk into other customers.
Oh yeah, he actually said that, and it's false.
That was actually a beautiful thing to see, because it was about comic book shops closing down because of COVID. And he was angry that it was happening because he couldn't explain it. Of course, his natural explanation for all this stuff is, Nobody likes digital. Meanwhile, everyone's buying comics digital or reading them
But
via
then they would
digital.
say,
I
we
have-
don't know the numbers for digital sales.
have-
so it's
I
must
have-
be none.
I have two twin nieces. They're 15. All the comics they read, and they like to read comics more than anything. All they read is just stuff on like Webtoon or something. Like they just read digital comics, just
Yeah,
web
I
comics.
know.
Vast majority of comics I've ever read were over the internet.
Like we have a niece and nephew who are about 10, and I think both of them read My Hero Academia, and they don't buy the new like sometimes they'll go to the comic store and be like, oh, here's My Hero Academia, I like this, so I'll buy the book. Hey, can you buy me this book? So that you theoretically could just have it anywhere, because that is a benefit of print, and we've always admitted that, of course. But
Benefit, but also a weakness.
the thing is that, like, when it comes out brand new, fresh, like, that this week's issue of My Hero Academia, the only way to really read that from Japan is to go to the Shonen Jump website and read it off of there.
Where it's already
So it has to be digital. But yeah, a lot of kids also, if they read comics, in fact, it's never been a better era for kids to read comics, because they have this giant, the internet is this giant repository for comics that they can just go to at a second's notice and read all sorts of comics, that there's no barrier for entry. There's no paywall. There's no buying the comic, because web comics are just there.
That's how much the fans actually like them too. That's how you can tell somebody's actually a fan.
Yeah, and all of that always gets ignored. It's weird. Whenever you bring it up, people get angry and they're like, "Oh, you think webcomics are better then?" It's like we made a blog called Shitty Webcomics because webcomics aren't better. That's the entire point. It's like weird missing the point intentionally, because
It's their own bitterness.
Even
They're very bitter.
I was about to say something about how Tales Gets Trolled is like the ultimate comic, it's a web comic and better than all those other comics.
Something
and I
you won't
remembered,
ever find anywhere else.
But then I remembered that hilarious stream where you guys are reading it to Doug. I think Tim's on there too, and that's gone now.
Yeah, that is gone. Well, it's on our other site now.
That is on the BitChute, and I think I isolated that and put that on BitChute too. But yeah,
of course. Remember, BitChute does suck.
Yeah, BitChute sucks. It's not really easy to watch. It's easier to just watch stuff off of YouTube. Because if everything's unified to YouTube, you have your big list of watch later stuff.
Oh boy, I always forget to invite Larry on here. Then he comes on like towards the end. Like we've been going almost 2 hours, so we're probably gonna end soon. But like every time Larry's in the chat, he's here at the end. And Larry, I will get you on soon, man. I used to have Larry on all the time, and then I just sort of dropped the ball. But
gonna eat that dog for lunch.
But Larry, his comic Niobe. It's always done by the time he launches. He puts them out on time. The only downside is he's in Canada, and I don't like Canada. But he puts out his books on time. He gets the art done first. He does everything that we talk about.
Oh yeah, Shen Yungo mentions, I remember in that Nick stream where Cecil ganged up on you. That was actually very weird, because it was just me and Ethan, and I was just on to say that there are complaints about Comicsgate that aren't just from the SJW side, and they immediately, like, both of them forgot that I wasn't an SJW, so they forgot the entire premise of the stream. But so I was on, and like after an hour, Nick was like, I got to bring on Cecil. And it's like, why do you have to bring on Cecil? How come you're bringing on two people from the opposite side to be up against the one person that everyone's disagreeing with, including the entire chat? You don't think that's suspicious? And nobody else did think that's suspicious. I later found out that Nick Recato was getting paid off by Ethan Van Sciver.
Oh man, but like another thing, like when they say like webcomics aren't a viable income or whatever, the thing is like I'm in this Facebook group that John Delarose added me to. It's called 20 Books to 50K, and in it is a bunch of people that successfully self-publish books on Amazon, mostly novels. And the thing is like when they talk about all their data, because they show their numbers, they talk about what works. Most of them are selling mostly ebooks. Like there's some people on there that don't bother even doing a hard copy because they're moving like
exclusively, because the overhead for that is zero.
Yeah, and so they make like there's people on there that make millions of dollars self-publishing on Amazon, and the bulk of it, like 99.999% of it is from ebooks, like not even hard copies. Like they rarely put up hard copies of their stuff
Yeah, because
sometimes.
the delivery is instantaneous. If you see a book that interests you, you click it, now you're reading it. Just
Yes,
right.
and
It's that fast.
and also, mind you, most of these people don't even do YouTube. So
Mhm.
it's like you don't need the whole like 2,000 subscriber thing. Like they just put their
Yeah,
books
Doug
up. They do.
Tenable said that like a tiny percentage of people who buy his comics are from YouTube.
Yeah,
I think he said a lot of them were from Facebook.
yeah. He's got like 100,000 likes on his Facebook page. He gets a lot of people from there. And I mean, when you
More
look at the
family
numbers,
oriented, I
like,
guess.
yeah, and like when you look at the numbers too, like how many backers he gets versus subscribers, like you just know like it's not his whole subscriber base going over to back. Like you know when he gets like he had 8,000 backers I think on Earthworm Jim issue 1. I think he got 8,000 backers. Like, and I think
Which
he had
isn't
like
even a ton, but it was definitely
true,
plenty of money.
but like he has like I don't know like 10,000 subs at the time probably. So you know like it's not his whole channel just going over there. Like that never happened. So they definitely were not all from YouTube. They were from Facebook and there and just I guess doing ads on different social medias. But the ads are really where a lot of these people find their success on Amazon. That's something John Delarose told me too. But a lot of these people, they don't do YouTube. They just do YouTube, or sorry, they do Facebook ads and Amazon ads, and that's like mostly it. Like sometimes they might do there's some websites that you know like you could like pay and then you get your book sent out on some like newsletter or something. Like sometimes people do that, but like most people are just doing like Facebook ads, mostly just Amazon ads, and like that's how their books are selling.
Yeah, I heard
So,
that about Facebook ads, where it's weirdly like it's like such a popular thing, and also yeah, the digital market for like novels and stuff just off Amazon is thriving so much, and it's like oh, it's
right, like even like oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many times I go into a bookstore and I'm like, oh, this book looks cool, and then it's $20, and then I look on
And it's
Amazon,
I'm
it's like
I can't try it out for $20.
right, and I mean, I look on Amazon and it's like, you know, it's like it's $13, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, I could get it so cheap. So like, oh my goodness, I mean, I might be awful for that, but I mean, I don't see any reason why like I should be paying $20 when I could pay 13.
Yeah, or like five even possibly.
Yeah, like that's
You always,
true. Like,
that's always the hope of finding like a comic or a book that's really cheap, and it's like, oh, it's only this much, and you read it, and it's like, wow, that was excellent. Well, how come these books that are way more expensive? That's what it's funny. You would think Comicsgate would be starved for that, for like an inexpensive comic book that's excellent, that's really
especially considering the industry nowadays. The print industry is just choking.
But
yeah,
what they want is something even more artificial and then more expensive. And the expensive cost was one of their biggest complaints at the beginning. Like, oh, Marvel's charging $5 or $6 for this, and then instead they're like paying $25 plus shipping for a book that's just as bad, if not worse.
and Larry also posts his Kickstarter link here, so everybody go check out Niobe. I didn't know he launched again. He's on issue 2 of Niobe Birthright. I have issue 1 somewhere next to me, I think, or maybe it's still up in my room. I can't remember. But where did I set that down? But anyways, but he's on issue 2 already. I have issue 1. I still need to read it. But everybody, go back. Birthright issue 2. I'm gonna be backing it soon. Larry, I didn't know you launched, but yeah, everybody go check that out because
and it's on Kickstarter, which is just as viable, if not better, than Indiegogo.
It's probably more viable, I'd say, because
yeah,
even though I haven't done it, it's got that name recognition, and they've got people there that just
it's a bigger site, and it has built-in support for comics. It has a built-in community because it's been around for longer, and most people used Kickstarter to create like 3 things. One was video games, one is like board games or card games, and then the other's comic books. That's what
Right,
Kickstarter
and
was
it's got
started
like
for.
5 times the audience at Indiegogo. Like people
Yeah.
just go there, like, oh, what are the comics trending today? I think Doug might have even said something that there's like Hollywood, and I know the point isn't to get a deal, but he said before like there's people in like Hollywood that they like open it up like every week, like, oh, let's see something we could option. So like it's got like all the attention is the point. Like versus Indiegogo, you really got to bring your own audience over there. It seems like I still use Indiegogo because when I tried to launch a Kickstarter, or well, not even when I tried to launch it, when I tried to set it up, they were like, we need to see the front and back of your ID. So I submitted that, and then they were like, we couldn't verify you. And I'm like, well, how
Oh
could
yeah,
you
I've
not
gotten that
verify
before
me?
from like cryptocurrency trading sites and shit. It's like, I mean, for Brave, it's like to verify your Brave wallet, you have to use Uphold, and it's like, okay, why? But okay, but I try and register with Uphold and verify my identity, and it's like, send us a picture. Use your smartphone. It's like, I don't have one of those. I don't need one. I don't believe in them. But it's like, send us a picture of your front and back of your ID. And it's like, okay. And it's like, we couldn't identify it. It's like, I scanned this. There isn't a better picture. You will never find a better picture of my ID. And it's just,
For
Yeah, that's
real.
on them too.
So,
But
so
yeah.
maybe if I could get Kickstarter to finally verify me for whatever reason they didn't, maybe
I wonder
well,
what's
I'm
wrong.
like,
Maybe are there people on Indiegogo who like promise to make comics and then have just burned every single person in the medium?
but after I do my next Indiegogo, whatever it is, I'm gonna try and then do a campaign on Kickstarter. I just don't want to go right out the gate with Kickstarter since I'm so familiar with Indiegogo and
Yeah, if
I
you're
just know
familiar with
exactly
it
how
at
it
least.
works.
But the weird thing is, I see a lot of people who just refuse to even back a book on
Oh
Kickstarter,
yeah,
and
that happened
so
on
you're
my
essentially punishing the person for
yeah.
using the better website.
That's what happened. Either I think it was like 2 days ago. I had John De La Rose on because he was doing a few streams, shilling the end of his book because it's over in a few hours. So everybody go back Flying Sparks. It's down in the description. But somebody was in the chat and they literally said they're like, I've spent thousands of dollars on CG books, but I'm not gonna back this because it's on Kickstarter. And I said Kickstarter does not care if they lose your $10 pledge. They rake in millions from several different campaigns. The only people you're hurting are the creators. You're hurting the writer, the artist, whoever else is on this book. You're hurting them because now they're not getting your sale. And the funny part is, they always, the first thing they say is, it's on Kickstarter, I'm not going to back it. They don't bother to ask, is there any other way I could support you? They're never like, can I
Yeah.
PayPal you for it? They're never like, will this be on Indiegogo at another time?
Yeah,
They never say
exactly.
anything like that. They just jump to like, no, it's on Kickstarter.
Yeah, they're weirdly entitled to to demanding that your campaign be only on the website they insist it be on. And it's like, why exactly are you the one, you the customer? If I'm the hot dog vendor, how do you the customer have the right to tell me where my hot dog cart even is allowed to be? It's like, that doesn't make it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't really make any sense to the extent that the customer is supposed to be so entitled that they can tell you the creator, how to even live. And it's like, to some extent, it proves why customers deserve to be disrespected.
Yeah, it's a really stupid mindset, and they'll always just be like, "Well, they deplatformed Zach,"
Which they didn't either. But that was a
right,
complete lie.
right. And he was like, "Oh, well, they didn't approve my Kickstarter, so I can't wait. So I'm just gonna launch on Indiegogo." So like, he never said anything about that. And then it became later. The story was like, "Oh no, they didn't like me." But then he had a Kickstarter that was like, I don't know, like 2 years went by and he hadn't fulfilled it, which should have been big foreshadowing to like all
Did
these
he have a
campaigns.
Kickstarter he didn't fulfill?
Yes, he had for the original Jawbreakers like years ago.
Oh,
Like,
you mean the very, very, like that black and white Jawbreakers? They're like,
yeah,
where's my Jawbreakers comic?
yeah, like that was like years late. Like it took him like 2 years to fulfill or something.
I didn't actually know that he tried to do a crowdfunding for that, because there's no way that would get funded, because I mean,
He didn't have
sure
to
it got funded,
subs
but
yet.
there's no way it should have gotten funded, because it looked like not even a webcomic. It looked like something somebody drew on like lined paper in a notebook in
Right.
high school.
Right, like they're like people say like oh man, like web comics, like it's supposed to be trash art, but there's like so many web comics that look great, and then it's like when it's his, it's like you like his art is like what you think of when someone says like trash web comic.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
some like they didn't even like hold the pencil properly, like they're like holding it in a fist, and it's like some
Yes.
little kid.
Yes.
Like,
It's yeah. If it was a web comic for free, I still wouldn't have read it. The thing is that I did read it because he basically dared people to
oh,
review
I
it.
remember when he made that video, he was like roast my comic.
Hmm. And the thing is that that's the only reason why I did. And I was like, oh, it's your boy Zach. And I was like, I'm gonna make sure to be honest though. And I was like, yeah, this comic is boring. I wouldn't read a future issue. The art's okay at best. And that was me being generous, of course, because I didn't hate Richard yet. And I
Yeah.
don't still hate Richard. I just feel sorry for him because
Yeah.
obviously he's got brain problems. He's not that smart.
Fly Fox Pro says, I try not to laugh at what the SWC guys say, but sometimes it's impossible.
I guess
I don't know why.
he's funny for own good.
I don't
Oh,
know why
man.
you wouldn't try to laugh. I don't know.
Oh,
you
that's
got-
why I like you guys'
problem.
channel
Yeah,
so much,
I
because you
didn't
guys
know-
cracked me up.
I didn't know that some people just don't like to laugh. It's
Boy.
sort of like Cumtown. I can't
Yeah.
believe they kicked him off of that Super Bowl ad just because he's in a podcast called Cumtown. Meanwhile, he's a 2-hour compilation of all the times he almost said the N-word.
Oh man. Robot Mechanic says, I thought RCM had more than one project on Kickstarter, didn't he? I got no clue.
I don't know either. I didn't even know he had that first one. I didn't know that
It
first one
was
was being on Kickstarter.
Honestly, it
It
was
goes to show they didn't kick him off.
he probably messed up in a whole bunch of ways that we don't
Yeah.
know about.
Right.
Yeah,
Diller draws.
Well, you know what? One thing I also do remember is what was it? That one book he put out, the one about the Korean War, Chosen, I think,
Something
and it
like
was listed for like what $20 or something, and it was it claimed that it was only 20 pages on accident instead of 200 pages. So like no stores ordered it. I was like, oh, that was a mistake. And it's like, yeah, that's a pretty big mistake to basically like almost blacklist yourself because you claim to be selling a book that was $1 per page. That's kind of stupid. That's not just a mistake, that's idiocy.
A boneheaded move.
Oh man, Dilla draws says, am I never going to get my Brutus book? He's just been trolling with us and messing with us in the chat.
I mean, that's a good question.
I don't know what. Yeah, why is it that you're withholding the Brutus book? What did you get? A really stupid, shitty, lazy artist who is incompetent?
Oh boy, I got so many messages, you guys, when I did a video comparing the first 10 pages of my script to the 10 pages of the PDF Donald put out, and then I did a stream comparing the other I don't know, like 38
They
pages. I
didn't
think it's 48
copyright
pages.
strike you for that?
No, but like I got like so many messages after I did that video and that stream where everybody's like, "Oh boy, he completely ruined the book." Because like he kept all my dialogue, but then he like added a few word bubbles of his own to try and like make it seem like I did less, or like he like might have reworded, like he might have like changed
he
two
had
words.
It's like I got some input too, but the thing is, you could always tell he was never funny.
But
That's
like,
always the
but
thing
like
an artist
everybody,
does.
but like everybody that messaged me about it, they're like, yeah, everything Donald added was retarded. Like he has no clue what he's doing.
Yeah, that's
So
the
funny.
greatest weakness of Comicsgate is none of them, not a single person who was ever in Comicsgate who made a comic has ever made a comic that made somebody laugh.
Right, and like,
They've never done it.
and one of
Liefelds.
one of the jokes he added on his own to the book was he told someone, he was like, "You fight like a male feminist." How is a bounty hunter in space on this alien planet gonna know what that is? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's really shoehorned and it's political shoehorning.
Right.
It's like I thought you were supposed to be against politics and comics, but
Yeah.
there you are forcing them unnaturally.
Also, it's
Right,
just
it
really-
doesn't even make sense. It's like
when somebody shoehorns in something like that, it makes them sound desperate to get
Oh,
like a point across.
because like he's actually got Trump derangement syndrome. Like John De La Rose made a blog post about those tweets where he found tweets from Donald from years ago, like, "Oh, if you vote Trump, you gotta block me, and I hate you, you Nazi."
Yep.
And like, so, but then he's here with all these supposed Trump supporters. They claim they are, but who
Well,
knows?
the same was true for Ethan Van Sciver, who was a never Trumper.
Right, but now
Never
he's
trust
like,
the never
he's like,
Trumper.
But now he's like you'll see tweets from Donald where he's like, "God bless America," and it's
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
no, you
I'm
don't
being
believe this.
censored in the comics industry by the SJWs because I supported Trump. And it's like, you said on Twitter, though, that you were never going to vote for Trump until
not
after he got elected.
Yeah,
though.
not just a never Trumper, but attacking Trump supporters before Trump was president.
Mhm.
Right. So he's a weirdo. But anyways, we've been going for just over 2 hours, so I think it's a good time to end. And I'm gonna get the link here for Villains of the Snow Sea.
we did need to do something to help at least get the word out that our channel's been deleted. Yes, again. I guess I could try
This
to
time, maybe for good.
Yeah, I could try to appeal it, but the thing is that our channel being deleted just proves our point. So yeah, as far as shitty webcomics,
That's the thing. That is the thing that nobody's said, and we haven't even said yet on stream today. Is this actually is benefiting us? I know that they think they've got a victory here because they're very, very bitter at our existence.
Well, they're also they're extremely short-sighted. They have no idea. Like, they think of if we false flag this channel and get it deleted, all that will happen is it will be good for us. They don't know that usually it turns out just badly for anyone even on the side of the false flagging, and that it always turns out that way. Even if it doesn't in this way, we now have everything we can use to say, yes, Comicsgate is in favor of censorship, always was, because none of the people are against us. And
Censorship and theft and
all
sorts of lies.
Actual theft.
Flaggetry, brigading.
Right, false flaggetry, and just all the lies that have been pointed out for I don't even know how many years
And
now.
we're
at this
not
point.
reporters either. We're not doing this to be reporters.
That's how obvious they were, that just anyone can point out, like, oh, here's a time when they lied, here's another time when they lied. Just an average person.
Here's the evidence, here's the receipt.
And all you have to do to catch the lies is just watch one of their streams 2 days in a row.
Yeah, they'll admit it, and then we just clip the part of the stream and replay it. Then they flag our video of their own stream.
Yeah, Liam Gray unironically did that. He flagged a video of his own stream.
That video still makes me laugh when he's like, I've been receiving James Bond style encrypted
messages. I still like there was Dick and Glenn show that where they played a version of that had James Bond music in the background.
When he also cured Parvo.
Yeah, that's right. We pointed out that Liam Gray essentially claimed that he cured Parvo.
He cured Parvo, but he's not giving the formula away to anybody.
Yeah, he's keeping that all for himself. But
he would have had to discover the cure.
As far as finding our new channel, basically, if you just go to BitChute and look for Kawhi Thomas. That's where the mirrors are. I'm still trying to upload more of the mirrors, but BitChute does this thing where if you upload a video, it'll say processing, and sometimes it'll just get stuck in processing forever. And in that case, I have to go re-upload it again. When you upload a video, you can't add the title or anything, and it requires a thumbnail. It doesn't just make its own thumbnail. You have to add a thumbnail manually yourself. It doesn't let you do that. If you're uploading a video, it will not let you add a thumbnail. So if it's a giant 2-hour-long video or 3-hour-long video or any of that, you have to wait for the whole thing to upload. Sometimes it will just 404 after that. Sometimes it will refuse the video. And sometimes you'll hit to publish and then nothing happens, and it's just a mess. But we're using that anyways to mirror all of the content.
The problem is with the rest of the audience, the other people. They didn't protect intellectual rights.
Right.
Yeah.
This was on them. This was absolutely not on us. All we did was...
The other thing to mention that doesn't get mentioned is we're comic creators first. We always were, because we were making comics before Comicsgate, before pretty much everyone else in Comicsgate. We had been making comics for an incredibly long time. Shitty Webcomics, the original blog, had 2 comics. It had 2 webcomics that we had made on it. One was actually by a jerk, Douglas. And the other was Kill Everything, which was more of a comic jam. But again, all this stuff, we're getting people willing to fund and make our comics for us now because Comicsgate's censoring us. And when people see this, they're like, wow, that's terrible. What can I do to help you guys? So people are willing to pay. The first way to help pay, or the first way to help us out, though, is to go to our Patreon. But you can also buy our comics.
I'm gonna open your
If you go to our
Patreon real
Patreon,
quick.
you can just give us however much money you want. But the thing is that also I am still looking for artists just for some of these other comic side projects. Like I have just 30-page single issue comics that I wrote years ago that are fucking fantastic. The script readings for them had been on our channel for years, but again, before Comicsgate ever existed. There's like short series, like 3-issue series. There's single issue, one shots. There's a 9-issue one that I think the artist for Villains of the Snow Sea is actually going to take a break from Villains of the Snow Sea to do this other comic.
Awesome.
But the thing is that if I can just find other artists, I could be pumping out a ton more comics, at least some of the one-shots. And I can pay people, I can at least pay people something. So any artists who are looking for something to work, the thing is that I won't take any artists who ever supported Comicsgate. And I don't care if that limits me. The thing is that, Nasser is proof that a lot of artists who ever supported Comicsgate are really untrustworthy. And I've had people tell me you could check out Fiverr or something and find artists there. And I've thought about it, but it's like, I want to find an artist who kind of really understands us, who's been following our channel or something.
There's another thing we've learned from having to browse artists.
And an
is
artist
a
that
lot of
isn't
them don't
stupid.
get it.
Yeah, a lot of artists just don't get. Yeah, a lot of artists are stupid. They don't really get it, and we need an artist who really understands. And they don't have to understand perfectly because I always
Now
work
we
with
have to
artists
vet
and tell them,
them.
hey, here's something else. Here's a different way you could draw this, or could you change this, and that kind of stuff. It's always good to work with an artist, especially page by page. In fact, I've been working with a few, and we just go on Discord, and like anytime there's a new page, it gets posted, and if anything needs to be changed, usually I'm right there to say, oh, could you change this or fix this? Usually I don't have to, but if I have to, it's right there in front of me, and it's a really nice way to work through the actual
Use of the
process of
technology.
making comics.
The technology makes this easier than ever. It makes you really suspect somebody who would shun the technology.
Yeah, but anyways, guys, I think this is a good note to end on.
Yeah,
and,
we'll have to wrap up.
Here's
We can always talk more.
Yeah, here's the Patreon link, so everybody go back SWC. I'm one of their patrons. It's totally channel approved, so anybody here watching, I mean, this has my full
Oh
endorsement.
yeah, you used to get access to the unlisted videos.
Yes,
the
and
videos
at least I got to watch a few of them.
Yeah, that's not going to exist anymore, and basically making them all public. All the videos are just going to be public. So if you're a Patreon backer, you're just donating to us for our comics or for our videos existing. You also help make our comics get made, though, at least.
Right, which is always a good thing. If you could help a creator get their comic made, then go ahead and do it. Just $1 a month. I mean, it really does add up. That
$1 a month get made. Okay. You want a creator who actually gets a product created, and not somebody who just takes your money and then fucks off forever.
If you're serious about that, if you're actually serious about supporting comic creators who actually create good comics, and you're not backing us, you're not serious about supporting creators who create good comics.
Right, but anyways,
you have to be giving us money to actually mean it when you say that you want better comics.
Right. But anyways, we've still got 19 people in here, so hit the thumbs down, unlike, unshare, unsub, and have a great day.
Uncomment.